Giving you the picture, the real big St. Louis sports picture. It's BK and Ferrario on 101 ESPN.
The most lopsided outcome in the history of this bragging rights rivalry. Complete domination for Illinois tonight.
Brad Underwood told us that this game, this rivalry, determines their Christmas. Well, Illinois fans and these players are going to have a pretty fun few days coming up.
That's what it sounded like yesterday. Fox Sports 1. Alongside Alex and Bradford, I'm BK. Back in the saddle with our guys for one final day prior to the Christmas holiday. Alex, I'm really glad that game did not determine my Christmas.
I can't believe we're opening with this. A Blues win?
Yeah.
No. You're right. This deserves the open.
I think Dennis Gates gets some unjust criticism. I think the Ofer in conference play, man, did that leave a mark with a decent portion of the Mizzou fan base. For whatever reason, there is just some of this fan base that will not accept his apology. They will not move on from that year. And frankly, I think a lot of Mizzou fans just don't really like the guy. He's not a particularly interesting interview. He is not forthcoming when it comes to injuries, and those have become a thing among Mizzou fans, especially as you saw last night with no Trent Pierce. They were without a couple of their main pieces from the rotation. There was the point guard a couple of years ago, Isaiah Mosley, who basically missed the entire year, and it was always, he's right around the corner. He'll be back. And there was an air of speculation as to why he was missing these games. So anyways, I say all of that to say this. That was embarrassing last night. A true embarrassment for the program, for the coaching, for the players, for me as a Mizzou fan that lives in the city of St. Louis, where that game took place last night. Oh, boy, was that rough.
Bradford's so broken he had to put Boston Celtics gear on. He walked in here. The basketball team was that bad.
You saw my attire yesterday, Alex. I was ready to go full bore, and then that happened.
I know, and T-Bone's texting us, acting as if I had somebody tweet at me saying, you will put respect on Illinois' name after this. I'm like, why? Because they got an easy victory? This was nothing to do with Illinois and everything to do with Missouri.
Illinois is good.
Yeah.
Illinois is a really good basketball team.
Agreed.
Nothing that I'm saying here takes away from them, but we knew that. That's not surprising. They're a top 15 to 20 at minimum team in the country, according to KenPom, number 9 team in the country right now. The story last night is this. Man, Dennis Gates better win next year, because this team is not going to be doing a whole lot of winning this season. Their best win so far this year was against Minnesota. To give you some context on that, Minnesota lost to San Francisco, Stanford, and Santa Clara this season. They are now 7-5 on the season. To add further context on Missouri's season so far this year, they lost to Notre Dame. Alex, I don't know if you saw this. Notre Dame recently lost to Purdue, but no, not that Purdue. They lost to Purdue Fort Wayne.
Oh, God.
SLU fans might be familiar with their work because SLU beat Purdue Fort Wayne earlier this season by the final score of 91-60.
But BK, that environment in South Bend, that environment.
So yeah, Missouri's a bad basketball team, I should say. And by the end of this season, there's a decent chance they finish below 500 for the season. That will be the second time in the last 3 years that Dennis Gates has had such a season. Year one was great. Last year was pretty darn good for Dennis Gates at Mizzou. Next year, he has arguably the top recruiting class in the country coming in, Alex. Freshmen, generally speaking, aren't very good. There are exceptions to that rule, but most of them are not very good right away at the collegiate level. Dennis Gates better hope that's not true for Mizzou, because if he doesn't win at a high level next year, I don't think he's going to have a chance to win at a high level going into 2027.
I mean, look, When you brought this up in the office, my initial reaction was, this seems a little bit harsh considering the guy couldn't win a game in the SEC for an entire season. But you're absolutely correct. What did he do the next year? Well, he went out there and he got them to a tournament. And how did he do that? Well, he went out there and he dominated at the portal. And that was year 2. Now we're 4 years into the program and we're once again back in this environment. So, man, the recruiting class is the part that got me excited about where Mizzou was at, because they landed a 5-star. And I thought was it a couple of 5-stars that they landed, or maybe it was 1 and then a couple of 4-stars. But none of that matters in this environment with college athletics if you're not good in the portal. And, I mean, this was a bad year for Gates in the portal.
Terrible.
I thought they were pumping it up like, hey, they found some guys, and you had some optimism because of the success he had from the year that they went winless in the SEC to the next year finding some actual players. This is very underwhelming. And, I mean, if this is what the product is, I don't know how many SEC games they're going to win this season. So, Again, I was hesitant at the beginning because it felt like, okay, but you're right. Like, we're 4 years into this now, and you're having an up and down year to where 1 year you're good, 1 year you're bad. You're not great in the portal. You've got this recruiting class, but it doesn't matter if you don't go and add the accent pieces around it. I think he's got 1 year.
And it's the same issues every year. Like, they still don't have a big that they can trust. When they have shooting, the offense looks great. They don't have shooting this year, and that was the case in 2024 as well. They didn't have the shooting that was necessary, and that's in part because of a roster construction issue. They whiffed in the portal, but they didn't attack the portal to get shooting that they desperately needed. They didn't attack the portal to get the big man that they desperately needed. They went and got Arizona State's backup center. That was it. That was their plan as a big. They went and got Michael Porter Jr.'s younger brother, who wasn't very good at Pepperdine.
No.
And now he's going to be your savior. They went and got Oklahoma's stretch 4, I guess you want to call him, and Luke Northweather, who, man, God bless the kid. That's not anybody's answer. That's not supposed to be how you fix this rotation. They went and got Sebastian Mack from UCLA, who was like, all right, that's a fine combo guard. He can't be somebody that's getting 20% of your possessions.
He's a bench player, period.
That ends horribly. So they failed spectacularly in the transfer portal. Anor Boateng just not working the way that they expected it to. The recruiting class from 2 years ago that was supposed to be so great. Dude, the early returns are just not good. 2 of them have already transferred out. Boateng, who I just mentioned, is just not playing very well. T.O. Barrett, I still think he's going to be a good collegiate player, but he's a sophomore. He wasn't like a top 10 overall recruit. It takes time for those guys to develop. You basically have Anthony Robinson, Mark Mitchell, and a bunch of guys. That's it. That's your team right now. And when you have an offense that doesn't really do much of anything in the half court, and a defense that relies exclusively on getting into passing lanes and stealing the basketball with no real ability to get stops any other way, this is what it looks like when you don't have legit NBA caliber players littered across your roster. So it's frustrating. It's really frustrating to watch. I'm not excited about the SEC play this year. The SEC is not as good as it was a year ago, but it's a hell of a lot better than Mizzou is. This is one of the worst teams in the SEC this season. I was a fan of the hire. I liked the direction that the program was heading in after year 1. I think his player development plan in general is pretty good. He did a good job with Kobe Brown. He did a good job last year with a lot of those guys that were around for a couple of seasons. I fear his schematics, his philosophy as a coach might be too much of a hindrance for him to be able to overcome. I'm rooting for him. I hope he succeeds with Mizzou next year. I hope this works out for him and for Missouri. It'd be the best thing for everybody involved. But I do have some serious reservations about that. And to me, Alex, my biggest takeaway from that game yesterday, if this comes to an end at the end of the 26-27 season, if it does not go the way that people are hoping for with those freshmen, I think you will look back at that game yesterday and say, that was when we probably knew it wasn't going to work for Dennis Gates at Mizzou.
No, and I think you really just hit the nail on the head. You were several years in BK, to this tenure, and schematically, structurally, we're still seeing and witnessing game to game the same issues, the same disjointed nature. You have a bunch of nice parts, okay? Complementary parts, I will say, though. If Mark Mitchell isn't consistently getting to the hole against upper echelon defenses, just think about what's going to happen when you can collapse upon him in the SEC. All of a sudden, Anthony Robinson has basically become allergic to shooting the basketball. He's a nice facilitator, and Jacob Cruz runs hot and cold. The fact that you went heavy, or you tried to do so, you tried to beef up your front line, and yet you're still getting killed game in and game out on the glass, too. It's troubling. It really does spell doom, I think, for what you're able to do in the conference schedule. And looking ahead to next year, that's the thing. Great. You absolutely have a wonderful, or so it seems on the surface, incoming class. But if you don't have the structure, if you're relying on this disparate group of freshmen with what we have seen or not witnessed from Dennis Gates as far as orchestrating an attack, it really reduces your optimism.
314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line to get involved in the show. You can check us out on YouTube, as always, at youtube.com/101ESPN STL. We did get this from iRock over on the YouTube chat. Well, BK, at least T-Bone isn't here today to taunt you all day. Also from the 314, let's not talk about how bad Mizzou is. Let's hear how good Illinois is. Merry Christmas. Illinois is very good. I don't know what else to say. We're going to be talking about Illinois all season long.
And I don't think you learned any more about Illinois in that game.
No.
That was a butt kicking that we all expected there.
Wagler's really good. That freshman guard that they have, we had heard some buzz on him coming into the season, and he reminded everybody of that promise with the way that he performed yesterday. The Ivisic brothers were very good. Mizzou had no chance going to the rim against those guys. They were blocking things left and right. And you mentioned Mark Mitchell getting to the lane. That's their only really way to score offensively. Well, Mark Mitchell is not big enough to take advantage of that kind of a team that has that kind of size inside. So you need shooting around him. You need to produce scores around Mark Mitchell and Ant Robinson, whose best ability is A, his defense, and B, his ability to distribute. They did a poor job of constructing this roster, and that's on Dennis Gates. You are the GM and the head basketball coach in college basketball nowadays, and he failed. His job as a GM failed his job as a head coach. He's been good at it in the past. He failed spectacularly this past offseason. All right, alongside Alex Ferrario and Bradford Bruns, I'm Brandon Kiley. It's BK and Ferrario here on 101 ESPN. By the way, we're getting the SLU versus Mizzou argument in the YouTube chat. Yes, SLU would destroy Mizzou this year. They're a better basketball team. There's no debating that. Mizzou is not very good. They struggled to beat SEMO. I don't think that they would fare particularly well against SLU. They're clearly the third best among the three, relatively speaking, local teams, talking about Illinois, SLU, and Mizzou. In 15 minutes, we're going to talk to our guy, Macadoodle Mike. Mike McKenna normally joins us on Friday, but the Blues lost last night, so we decided let's go ahead and call him up today on a Tuesday.
Smart.
Our final show of the week live here on BK and Ferrario. But next, Chaim Bloom, is he exclusively going to make deals with the Boston Red Sox? We'll talk about it next here on 101 ESPN.
Miss the Blues game? Want to hear the highlights? Need player reaction? Want more analysis and opinion? It's all here on Curbside, your next day postgame podcast with a voice of the St. Louis Blues, Chris Kerber. Catch new episodes of Curbside every morning after every Blues game on 101ESPN.com or on the 101 mobile app.
Curbside is presented by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Your St. Louis roofing experts. Visit BlueNoteRoofing.com for a free inspection. And by Bellman Automotive. For the best price on a new Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, or used vehicle. Shop Bellman in Troy. Online at Bellman.com. You can't do better than Bellman.
right back to more of it. It's BK and Ferrario on 101 ESPN.
While there are some things that you look for and traits that we like and certain guys that we've targeted, you don't want to be so locked into one type of player that you walk past good talent. It comes in a lot of forms. You can turn on any major league game on any given night and see a lot of different kinds of talent. And for that matter, it's not just pitching depth that we're looking to acquire. We obviously need a lot of good players on both sides of the ball to get us where we need to go. It just so happens, in these two deals that that's where we were able to align. And certainly, especially at the major league level, starting pitching depth is a big need. And to be able in these two trades to get two guys that are both capable of starting games at the major league level now and have a chance to do that for us for a long time is really big for where our pitching group is.
That was Chaim Bloom yesterday talking about what the Cardinals were able to acquire in return for Wilson Contreras. And they also were able to acquire something similar from the same team for Sonny Gray. Alongside Alex and Bradford, I'm BK. Ken Rosenthal reporting the following yesterday over at The Athletic. Cardinals president of baseball operations Chaim Bloom, who already traded right-hander Sonny Gray and first baseman Wilson Contreras to the Boston Red Sox, might not be done dealing with his former club. According to Ken Rosenthal, the Cardinals and Red Sox have also discussed a trade that would send Brendan Donovan to Boston, according to people briefed on Conversations. Donovan would likely play second base for the Red Sox, who have also been linked to Ketel Marte. No deal is close, but Donovan is almost certainly to bring a greater return than Gray or Contreras, who the Cardinals acquired for 5 minor league pitchers, while including a combined $28 million in the deals. Again, all of that coming from Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic. Alex, I don't mind that the Cardinals have made 2 deals so far with the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox going into last year had arguably the best farm system in all of Major League Baseball. Chaim Bloom was a big part of building that farm system. So it would stand to reason they would be a team that, A, matches up well with you. They needed a first baseman. They needed a number 2/3 starter. And B, Chaim Bloom has a history of understanding what their prospect pool looks like. So I'm good with all of that. I would prefer he not continue going down that well if possible.
Yeah.
There are other teams out there.
No, just one.
Do have really good prospects. I mean, I'm looking at the Seattle Mariners, and I've got to imagine Jerry DiPoto is like shaking right now, waiting to make this move to acquire Brendan Donovan. What was your reaction when you saw that the Cardinals, A, made another deal with the Red Sox, but then B, after making that deal, Ken Rosenthal was reporting that there still may be another out there.
I said it yesterday. I don't care that he's made 2 deals with the Boston Red Sox for Sonny Gray and Wilson Contreras. I think that there were going to be limited teams that were interested in those players, and especially that those players were willing to be traded too. And so sometimes you just got to pull the deal off, and I'll trust his ability to identify talent, even if it is in an organization that he already knows. The Donovan one, I'm a little bit of a different tune on. And maybe this is because I've become infatuated with Seattle, like the Wolverine meme of me staring at a picture and it's the Mariners prospects. But I don't know if I want to trade Donovan to Boston. And it's not because I don't trust his ability to evaluate talent, and they have some pretty high-end talented players. I just feel like when you've got a piece like Brendan Donovan who doesn't have to decide where he's going to go, you should be marketing that around the league. And he already is. We've heard the names that the Seattle Mariners are tied to this. We've heard Cleveland's name. We've heard a lot of teams tied to him. But, man, to just go back to Boston, it feels like it's just settling for, well, we've already made these calls. We know their prospects. Let's just trade them. I feel like the Seattle has the higher-end talent pool, and that's why you've already told me that there's a pot of gold at the end of this rainbow. So why not follow this rainbow? Why am I going to go for the other one? Why am I going to go to this side of it and say, well, Boston's here and they're willing to make a deal?
What if the headliner is a prospect that Chaim Bloom had no part of acquiring and is already at the major league level, has a history of being a top prospect in all of Major League Baseball, and that's the headliner? Because to me, the Brendan Donovan trade is really about what's the headliner you acquire.
Yeah.
Who is the best player coming in return? And I think, and I got some buzz about this yesterday, I think it's possible the headliner in a Boston Red Sox deal is Kyle Harrison. a left-handed pitcher who was formerly ranked as a top 25 prospect in baseball. He was the headliner in the Rafael Devers trade to the Giants last year midseason. So this is not somebody that Chaim Bloom has a history with in Boston. He just came over last year in a deal for the Red Sox. He was pretty good for Boston last year. He's pretty good in Major League Baseball overall over the last 2 seasons. He's had roughly a 4 ERA in 35 starts at the Major League level. That's basically 1 full season. His first 3 seasons at the big league level, not all that dissimilar from what we've seen, or what we had seen, rather, through 3 seasons with Mackenzie Gore at the Major League level. I think he's an intriguing addition to me, Alex. I think there are guys in the Mariner system that I prefer personally, but he is, because if I told you Kyle Harrison was coming over from the Mariners, I think people would have a different view on this.
Oh, I agree. I totally agree with you there.
Same exact player, same exact pedigree. Let's say the Mariners had acquired last year Kyle Harrison at the deadline, and he's the one that is coming as the headliner in a deal for Brendan Donovan, but he's coming from Seattle and not from Boston. Or hell, there was never a deal from the Giants.
That's where I was just going to go.
And the Giants wanted to acquire Brendan Donovan, and Kyle Harrison was the prospect that the Cardinals are getting in return for him. I think a lot of Cardinals fans would look at this and say, pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Top 25 former prospect, left-handed pitcher, big-time pedigree, pretty darn good stuff. All right, let's see what this can look like for the Cardinals in their rotation. But because it would be a third deal with his former team, and he hasn't had, the utmost success at the Major League level, I think that would be potentially met by a decent portion of the fan base as, Chaim's just going out there and getting his guys again, even though there's really nothing to suggest that this is a Chaim Bloom guy. Yeah. It's just a high-level prospect that the Cardinals are trying to acquire.
Yeah, it's just a guy that just got traded to Boston for Rafael Devers. That's what this was. And I love that point. That's where I was going to go. Say it's a trade with the Giants. This is what you're getting in return. Now, this is going to surprise our listeners. I may have judged a book by its cover because I looked at Kyle Harrison and I'm like, oh, God, really? That's what you're getting back in return? But he's also 23 years old, and he got Major League starts at 21 years old, and just because I'm an insane individual, and I compared it to what was Tarek Skubal when he started. He was 23 and had a worse ERA with Detroit. Sometimes guys figure it out 2 or 3 years into being a Major League starter. So this is a high-end player. I don't care who I'm getting as long as I'm getting that high-end player. Top 25 prospect in all of baseball is an insane return. So yes, I would be on board with this much more than what I was in the office when I got a little upset about it. I also think part of my issue too, BK, is I've become infatuated with Seattle.
I think so, yeah.
And it also is I'm infatuated with that power bat of Las Montes. Like I see that and I say, well, you're getting a lot of pitchers. Where are also you weak? And you don't have hitters. And so I feel like I'm looking at Donovan, but maybe he's the guy that can get you that potential superstar bat. But, man, if you can get me superstar blank for Brendan Donovan, don't care.
That's the thing that I find interesting on this is, what do you want? What are people trying, what are the Cardinals, really, in this scenario, trying to acquire for Brendan Donovan? The number one name that comes in return, that's ultimately what this deal is probably going to be remembered for. There will be others. I'm guessing this is not a one-for-one kind of a deal. You wouldn't see Donnie going in one direction, a prospect going in the other. You'd see multiple names coming back to the Cardinals, probably pretty similar to what we saw from the Sonny Gray trade, but with better prospects coming St. Louis's way. If Kyle Harrison is the top headliner, that's a pretty good deal for the Cardinals. It doesn't blow me away, but it's a good deal nonetheless for the Cardinals. If Montes from Seattle is coming the Cardinals' way, it's a big-time swing by Chaim Bloom on the position player side of things. I just want them, with their revamped front office, to go out there and acquire the best player possible for Brendan Donovan and then supplement that with additional high-level, maybe high-variance prospects. If the best deal in their eyes comes from Boston, it will feel weird. It will be strange to see him make 3 significant deals early in the offseason, and all 3 happen to have come with his former team. But this isn't like some system that's devoid of talent. The Red Sox, we knew, have all the pitching depth you could possibly ask for, and the Cardinals are making a deal potentially with that team. It's hard for me to get upset about them adding all of this pitching depth when they have had so little of it in recent seasons. Just real quick, here are pitchers that are similar to Kyle Harrison according to Baseball Savant in quality of contact allowed. Lance Lynn, Jesus Luzardo, Kevin Gossman. Pretty good list of pitchers to be involved with. If you're looking at similar pitchers based upon velocity and movement, Andrew Heaney, Nick Lodolo, and Alex Wood, Ryan Weathers. Those are the top pitching comparisons for Kyle Harrison when it comes to the types of pitches that he has, the movement that he has. Connolly Early is another pitcher. Chris Sale is another. So, yeah, pretty good stuff when it comes to Kyle Harrison. Coming up.
What the heck, man?
I got all emotional about it.
Oh, man.
Coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll get into Ask Us Anything. 314-399-9646. That is the Air Comfort Service text line for any of your questions, sports or otherwise. Mike McKenna, I'm emotional about this. We get to talk to him next here on 101 ESPN.
Do you have what it takes to beat the Blues? Tune into BK and Ferrario every week for your shot to take on a member of your St. Louis Blues. And you can win a signed puck and tickets to an upcoming game.
Can You Beat the Blues is presented by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Alex, on Christmas Day, I'm going to be using the Underdog app, and you can too. Go ahead and get in on all of the action by downloading the app today. And if you have not done so yet, first of all, what are you waiting for? Second of all, use the promo code BKO. Alex will tell you about all that they have to offer here in just a moment. I opened up my app earlier today to check out, all right, what do they have for some of these offers that I can get on Underdog. They had a gimme bet. I have Jahmyr Gibbs higher than 0 rushing and receiving yards for Christmas Day. Yeah, I'll go ahead and take that. I've got lower on Jared Goff passing yards, higher on Chris Oladokun. That's the Chiefs' new quarterback, Alex, if you're curious. Higher on his rushing yards on Thursday. And I like Terry McLaurin to go higher on his receiving yards. Put all that together, put that in on the Underdog app. I've got 10-1 odds, Alex.
You get your entries right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. So download the Underdog app today. Use promo code BKO and score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. Promo code BKO. Underdog, make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Start your day with a morning after on 101 ESPN. Get in the know first on everything St. Louis sports with Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, and Martin Kilcoy. Listen to TMA weekday mornings from 7 to 11 a.m. on 101 ESPN. The morning after is presented by Brown and Crouppen Law Firm. 101 ESPN Sports Center.
Humbling way to hit the holiday break. Good morning, I'm Bradford Bruns. Your Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Jim Montgomery's Blues couldn't carry any of their momentum from Saturday into Benchmark International Arena, dropping last night's 4-1 decision against Tampa Bay. Aside from Justin Falk's second period tally, TB stifled St. Louis, which will be idle until December 27th. Surging Nashville visits Enterprise Center. Then, as for that venue, it just saw Illinois Hoops destroy Mizzou 91-48. NFL-wise, San Francisco raced past Indianapolis 48-27. Indy has now lost 5 straight games, while those 49ers are playoff-bound. Afternoon college action, including Toledo, Louisville, plus Western Kentucky, Southern Miss. This SportsCenter update was driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
This is exactly where you want to be, listening to us. It's BK and Ferrario on 101 ESPN. We're going between the pipes with former NHL goaltender Mike McKenna.
Save by Mike McKenna. How do you like me now?
Between the Pipes is refreshed by Macadoodle Spirits, fine wine, beer, and cigars. Now open in Darden Prairie.
Alongside Alex and Bradford, I'm BK. It's BK and Ferrario here on 101 ESPN. Blues lose last night against the Tampa Bay Lightning, and today we are able to discuss it with Mike McKenna. Former NHL goalie joins us each and every week here on BK and Ferrario. Thought maybe with the change of going from a Friday to a Tuesday, we'd get a different result for him going into the day.
I actually look at it a little bit differently, BK. Rather than look at the loss before Mike comes on, how about the win after Mike comes on. Mike joined us Friday. Big Blues win on Saturday over the Florida Panthers.
The Mike McKenna bump. Mike, appreciate the time, man. How you doing today?
Let's do this on a Saturday next time. We're just going to keep throwing darts at the board until we find the right magic day for the team.
Mike, I love you, buddy, but no, I'm not coming in on a Saturday to do that.
I mean, to be fair,
I'm already here. You're right. You
no, absolutely
touche,
will.
Mike, touche.
Mike,
what if we hosted it at Macadoodles and we could do it live from here? Would you be okay with that?
You
free sample?
You just needed to say free sample, and I'm there.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Let's be real here. You know how I operate, Mike.
I know. Well, you know what, guys? You can think about this in a couple ways. I mean, obviously last night you lose 4-1 to a good team. It's not a great feeling, especially being down immediately in the game. But, boy, they played well against Florida, and you're watching this go, they scored again. This is great. And I'm watching it with my kids going, man, like, they've got some jam. They've got some energy. They obviously got some vitamin D from the beach. Like, again, it just kind of goes back to the inconsistency of the club. And we know that's been there all season with this team. But, boy, if you can just channel it, it'd be unbelievable, you know?
Mike, I think I know your answer to this because you're a former goaltender, and I'm going to fall in the same line that you do. But would you have started Joe Hofer last night instead of Jordan Binnington?
No, I was good. I would have stayed with Bennington. I don't think this was a goalie thing. The goaltending, honestly, is the least of my concerns for this team, even though I do think Hofer, and it's not just a think on my behalf, Hofer's outplayed Bennington, especially as of late. I just don't think that with these two goaltenders, you start to anoint somebody and start going 3 out of 4 games, 4 out of 5 games with Hofer, especially with Bennington obviously capable of carrying the mail. I think you've got to get both on track. So I was fine with that. There was other parts of last night's game that I was not fine with that are pretty easy to call out, and we can delve that direction if we care to.
I'd say we care to.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, guys, we've been like, you know, nice to see Jonathan Berggren in the lineup and contribute and everything else. But I got to tell you what, man, that was about as soft as I could possibly see going out to the point on that first goal against. He literally stopped short of the shooting lane and let Tampa throw it at the net for an easy deflection in front, left his teammates hanging out to dry because he wasn't ready to play and he didn't want to play hard hockey. And, you know, look at his career PIMs. There's hardly any. PIMs aren't necessarily an indicator of how somebody plays, but to me, they kind of say a story on things. And, you know, we've seen really good hockey out of Berggren. We've seen him dominate a game before. But you start to see little microcosms of why a team gives up on somebody. I guarantee that's a reason why Detroit let him go. Stopping before you get in the lane of a shot because you're scared of it? Come on, man. It's the NHL.
And that's where the Blues find themselves because, like, he played a pretty good game, or at least offensively played a pretty good game over the weekend, Mike, and he finds himself on the top line for the Blues. So despite all of those deficiencies, and it's not as though the Blues didn't know about that stuff. He was on waivers for a reason. Despite all of those deficiencies, they view him as their best option to wing that top line with Robert Thomas right now, Mike.
Yeah, well, but you've seen that offensive side. I mean, Florida game looks like a wonder kid and done well. And I don't really, I'm not purposefully bagging on a guy here to say he shouldn't be in the lineup or he's not an NHL player. But when you're trying to win hockey games, you got to play hard hockey. Now, I don't care whether you're playing 12U. I mean, shoot, man, we're trying to teach kids how to block the shots at 12U, you know? That's just, if you want to win, that's reality. So, to be down like that's not great. I didn't think sticks and lanes were great last night, even on the penalty kill for the Blues, which has been really solid. They've, you know, Booch kind of struggled that game too.
Yeah, that was the other soft one that I was looking at, Mike, to where that power play goal that went in, the pass from Mayu was it was on his stick. It was in front of him. He just didn't go fast enough to get the loose puck, and it stays in and it goes in the back of the net. Yeah,
and so details. And when you get this close to Christmas and it's your last game before the break, you know, I'll tell you what, the feeling in the locker room truly is you just want to survive these games. Like, you don't want to get hurt. And I thought they looked like that at times last night. Killer teams don't care. They just play because they get to drive the play. And when you're a team that's been behind the play like the Blues, that little bit of hesitancy can come involved when you've got a break ahead of you. And, you know, the level of detail wasn't quite there. But, again, flip side, man, you win a game against Florida in a really tough building right before it. So at least the trip wasn't, you know, completely lost. They're going to walk out of that trip feeling that they at least did some things well. There's just a lot of room for improvement.
Mike McKenna joining us here on 101 ESPN, former NHL goalie, joins us on behalf of Macadoodles each and every week here on BK and Ferrario. He'll tell you about what they have to offer going into the holidays here in just a moment. Mike, all right, we're into the holiday break now, and we're going to talk about this coming up in the 12 o'clock hour. Alex has a stat on where their record is compared to the holiday break in the last 25 years. Spoiler alert, it ain't great. The rest of the NHL, though, specifically the Western Conference, also is not great this season, Mike. They're not putting the Blues too far behind them, and so they're still technically, and in the most technical sense of it, in this thing. How do you view this Blues team as we now have reached like a milestone portion of the season?
It's crazy to think. I mean, they're sitting 3 points out of the wild card slot. Yeah. I mean, it is a testament, though, to like banking points, and let's not think of the what ifs. Like, I mean, what if they won all those games in OT? Yeah, they'd be in. But like, what if they didn't get to overtime? That's the bigger factor. So, like, in some ways, the team's been more competitive than we've given themselves credit for. And if we didn't continue to host, between the pipes with Mike McKenna on Fridays, so they instantly lose every Thursday, they'd probably be a lot better. But if you're Doug Armstrong, which way are you going to go? Are you going to like truly sell the farm this year? I don't think it's a fire sale. I think if you can make a hockey trade and get better, or make a hockey trade that's better for a year or two from now, I think you consider that. But I still think the areas that we're seeing, to me, with this club is there's still just a softness around the team at times. They're just not consistently hard to play against. And you're not going to get that from youth. You're not going to get that from waiver pickups. That's a trade for Matthew Tkachuk type of thing, frankly.
That's easy to do. Yeah, well, they had the chance for that.
Yeah, but that's where you're at, though. Like, you're going to have to pick up pieces that are hard to play against. And that's going to be the tough thing for Doug Armstrong to figure out is, do we nominally try to get this team better to get in the picture, or do we continue to ride what we have and wait for the Army to come back out of the infirmary, So it's a tough balance for him.
One more before we talk Macadoodles. Otto Stenberg, he was a positive and has been a positive over these last few games for you, Mike.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and again, like it's kind of found change here with a guy like Stenberg, because it wasn't an expectation for him to end up in the NHL, for him to step into it and do this well for the team. And it didn't happen in the first game when you're not playing a lot, but for him to be, especially against Florida, like, he didn't have a ton of time on the ice that game. He made a lot out of what he had there. And, when we were talking about him a little bit offline too, you notice things about players. And the funny thing is he does look exactly like Jesper Bratt from the Devils guys. Like, and I get it now, because I wasn't paying as close of attention to him as coaching staff the first couple games. The way he skates, he's left-handed, his athletic posture, like, they are almost identical in look. I'm not sure he has the same skill or vision that Bratt does, but like, if you get a really good second, third liner out of this player who has those qualities to him, that's a good thing. It's striking how similar they look.
All right, Mike, we'll get you out of here on this. It's one of the busiest days of the year for you guys over at Macadoodles. What can people expect when they walk through the door there?
Yeah, it's wild today, guys. I dropped a couple bundles out there that are pretty sweet. I've got some Fortaleza tequila. I got 2 bottles of Reposado, 1 bottle of Blanco. That is the Blanton's of tequila. People out there that are listening, they know what that is if you're a tequila person. I've got 3 bundles for that. If you buy a bottle of Arete tequila, okay, and this is like Arete is an under $35 tequila. You buy one of those, then you are welcome to take home a bottle of Fortaleza at MSRP, not marked up to the moon. Okay, $74.97 Blanco, $75.90 or $84.97 for the Repo, and then I've also got a couple Blantons that are about to hit the shelf in a bundle with our Greenbeard's whiskey that is a barrel pick of our own. So you'll be able to take one of those home if you care to, and that will be at a fair price like always. And we got a bunch of twofers going over in wine. Buy 2, get a deal on it. Eggnog, buy two, get a deal on it. All the Christmas beers are still here. So you need gifts, we got them. You need booze, we got them. You need NA or THC, we got that too here at Macadoodles.
Go check them out, Macadoodles. You can look them up, by the way, on social media, see all of the other stuff that they have to offer as well. They're always doing cool events out there, and you can stop by and just say hello to Mike. Tell him, hey, I love hearing you on BK and Ferrario. Stop by, chat a little bit about the Blues. Mike always willing to help our listeners out as they walk through the door over at Macadoodles in Darden Prairie. Mike, appreciate the time as always, man. Happy holidays to you and yours. We'll talk with you again next week.
Same. Thanks so much. Happy holidays, everybody. Be good to each other out there this time of year. Check in on your friends, too. I skate with the Warriors every Tuesday, and that's always a thing, is check in on your friends. Say hi to anybody that cares. Appreciate you all. So Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, everyone.
Appreciate you, Mike. We'll talk with you again next week. That's Mike McKenna joining us as he does each and every week here on BK and Ferrario. Normally on Fridays, as we're out at the Centene Community Ice Center this week with the shortened week for the holiday season, we are doing so on Tuesday. By the way, because it is a shortened week here on BK and Ferrario, we will do Beat the Blues coming up at 1:15. Continue to stay tuned for your opportunity to text in and be a part of that. We'll do One's Gotta Go coming up at 1:30. We'll certainly talk a little football coming up in the 12 o'clock hour as well. But next, 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line. If you guys have any questions, it's the end of the year as well. So any questions, big picture-wise, sports or otherwise, we'll get to those for Ask Us Anything next here on BK and Ferrario.
Friday afternoon, it's the Rake Bowl. Minnesota and New Mexico. Pre-game at 3, kickoff at 3:30. The NCAA plays on 101 ESPN. They are St. Louis. It's BK and Ferrario on 101 ESPN. You've got questions, we may have the answers. Maybe. It's BK and Ferrario's questions and answers on 101 ESPN.
314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line for Ask Us Anything. If you guys have any questions, sports or otherwise, go ahead and get them in right now on the Air Comfort Service text line. From the 314, guys, how will the recent news from the Chiefs affect ticket holders for next year, ticket sales for next year, rather, especially from fans in the St. Louis area that travel there? Man, this is obviously a huge story for many of my friends and family back in the Kansas City area. For those of you that aren't following, the Chiefs announced yesterday they will be moving from their current home at Arrowhead Stadium to the Kansas side of the state in 2031. And they will be doing so to a new $3 billion domed stadium in Kansas, one of the most expensive stadiums ever constructed in the NFL. I believe the only one expected to be more expensive is Stan Kroenke's palace out there in LA that he paid for. We don't have to get into that right now, but it will be one of the most expensive stadiums in the league, and they will be doing so with $2 billion in public financing. We don't have to have a public financing debate right now. That's just the facts on the ground as to where they're going and why they're going. As for what this means, big picture wise, let me start with this. I don't think it's going to do much for ticket sales next year. I think that's just purely affected by the performance of the team. We've seen that here in St. Louis. Like, if you've got a good team, people will go. If you have a bad team, people will not go. The Chiefs, I think, are going to be pretty good next year. I wouldn't expect a whole lot difference in terms of the tickets. 2030, maybe that's when it changes a little bit because it's the final year of Arrowhead Stadium in its current form. Maybe then you get some people that are like, I want to go one final time to see that team with Patrick Mahomes, hopefully still as the quarterback, playing in that stadium. So that could still happen. But next year, I don't think it really changes things a whole lot. Somebody else asked on the text line, what does it mean for St. Louis possibly getting a team? And what does it mean for Kansas City potentially getting an NHL/NBA team? Let's start out with the St. Louis side of things, Alex. I don't think it means a whole lot at all. I don't think that the NFL is coming back here to St. Louis, at least not for a really long time. Kansas City getting a potential NHL/NBA team, again, think it's pretty unlikely. I think the more likely scenario here is that the Royals will stay in Kansas City, Missouri. I think that maybe becomes more likely because now there's more public funds available for them as opposed to the Chiefs, who just left for the Kansas side of things. So that's kind of my thoughts on the matter.
The Royals one, I find interesting, and I didn't think of that perspective that they got a little bit more public funding money that could help with that. But I was hearing people talk the other day that because of the Chiefs situation, do the Royals fall into a little bit of problem because Nashville has been a team that's wanted a baseball team so hard?
I think they will stay in Kansas City. Where that happens, I truly do not know. It seems as though every place that they've looked for a stadium to be constructed, that area of the city, so it's kind of like St. Louis where you've got like, you could go to Maplewood, you could go to St. Charles, you could go to Chesterfield. There's a lot of different areas that you could go. Kansas City is the same thing, different municipalities within Kansas City. And it seems like all of them are saying, no, thank you. So I don't know where they're ultimately going to move. All right, let's get to some more of these from the text line. From the 618, as fellow Italian Americans, do you guys also have lasagna for Christmas?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, my mom's making it.
We do ravioli, typically.
We do. So we rotate. One Thanksgiving gets ravioli or lasagna. Christmas gets ravioli or lasagna. But we typically like to do like a family tradition of making the ravioli at some point in the fall leading up to Thanksgiving, and then we freeze it. But yeah, lasagna this year, homemade. Looking forward to it.
That is one of my childhood core memories, is doing the raviolis. My grandma is the one that typically does them on my mom's side of things. We would hang out with her and the family. So she would, when we would switch off every other year. We'd go to Denver, where most of my family, my mom and dad are both from Denver originally. That's where most of my family still lives. We'd go there one year, and then they would come to Kansas City the next. So when they would come to Kansas City, they would freeze them, bring them out, and then we'd have them all ready to go. Or when we'd go there, we'd all make them together at my grandma's place.
We also go pretty Italian. On top of the lasagna or ravioli, we go to the Hill and we get salami from Volpe's. We get bread from the Hill, and then we also get olive salad from the Hill. Hill.
Do you guys do any cookies for Christmas?
Yes, we get that from Missouri Bakery.
There you go.
Christmas time is like the platter of like Christmas tree cookies. Oh, it's so good.
My grandma would make a bunch of them,
now.
and we do ladyfingers. That's like her specialty. Yeah. I used to eat those with milk that when I was like 4, 5, 6, all the way up until today. Dude, it's just something that brings nostalgia for me.
Side tangent, I don't know how my parents navigated raising children with cookies at Christmas time because my children literally just live off of sugar cookies right now.
I mean, it is what it is.
They don't eat dinner. They just eat cookies.
All right, 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line from the 314. What are you all most excited about for 2026 with respect to sports and or otherwise? For sports in 2026, it's rough. I would probably say Mizzou football, just because of where things stand right now. The Chiefs have given me so much happiness over the last 7 years. Like, I never thought I would see this kind of a run. I'm excited to see how they pivot, but that's more like intrigue as opposed to excitement. Mizzou football, I think, has a real chance to, there's an opening here for them. And if they're able to take advantage, that to me is really exciting. Otherwise, we're taking Luca on his first trip to Disney World, which means a ton, obviously, to my wife, who is a Disney adult and has, that's her spot. And it'll be Luca's first ever trip there. We're doing that in February. So that is something that I'm very much looking forward to.
Sports-wise, and it seems crazy to say, but I'm actually kind of excited Cardinals and Blues-wise, but it's mostly because of what the future may hold. Like, to get to see what some of the Cardinals are in terms of weather hold, like what this could be. And then for the Blues, I mean, I know it's a really bad year, and I don't know what it's going to look like at the end, but you potentially might have a top 3 pick, which hasn't happened since Alex Pietrangelo. And that's pretty exciting if you want to look at it that way in terms of the talent that you could be bringing in. Personally, my wife and I's 10-year anniversary is in October, and I'm hoping we'll be able to afford to go to Hawaii for our 10-year anniversary.
Hey,
that's
all right.
where our honeymoon was, so that's what we're hoping for.
How about for you, Bradford?
BK, I will echo your sentiments shockingly on the Mizzou front. Hey, with Chip Lindsey now at the helm of the offense. Right. But in all seriousness, it's difficult to make projections on December the 23rd, but we do know, obviously, this whole attack is still going to be oriented around Ahmad Hardy. Maybe you take that swing in the portal and you land your big fish at QB, but whether it's that guy or Zollers moving forward, I still think it's a manageable-ish schedule. I really do in 2026. And on a personal note, hey, now 2 young drivers in the household, maybe some adventures hitting the road. Spoiler alert, I'm not going to go all the way down that avenue, but there's some fun stuff planned in the Bruns house.
I'd be more excited to have drivers. That means right. You don't have to do the driving.
314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line. A couple more of these questions from the 314. With now former Battlehawks head coach Anthony Becht moving to the Orlando Storm, does the UFL have a team identity problem even in its biggest market of St. Louis? This news dropped earlier today, Alex. Anthony Becht is going to be the next head coach down with the Orlando team that's being added to the UFL. Identity problem? I don't know.
I think they have a perfect identity. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's a niche sport that some people like, some people don't like.
It's effectively a minor league football league. I don't know why it has to be anything more than that. It works. I mean, it's been successful here in St. Louis. I don't think that the identity of the Battlehawks was tied into Anthony Becht. I think it was tied into St. Louisans, and this is my read on the matter. St. Louis is giving a middle finger to Stan Kroenke and showing that they will support a football team, even if it's a minor league version of a football team. So I don't know that it really changes a whole lot other than the potential success. He did a really good job here.
Yeah. Did he not seem a little more out in front, though, as opposed to a lot of the other head coaches in the league? Now, I'm not saying synonymous with the St. Louis community, because you were never going to get that. You don't get that in any of the markets. They fly in and they go out. It seemed that way, though, from afar.
I think he had a social media presence, and he was willing to, and I haven't paid attention to other UFL head coaches in terms of their availability on markets in terms of radio shows and TV shows, but Becht was available, and he was out in the open in St. Louis, but it's only so much you can do because you're not even here.
My guess is you'll hear the next head coach on many of those different things. Like, you have to do that. It's the same thing for minor league baseball.
And that's not even the coach. That's the PR of the team. That's getting the word out there for the city.
Right. They've done a really good job. The infrastructure of the St. Louis Battlehawks since its inception, they did a really good job with the grassroots campaign. And if not for that, I don't think it would be the success that it has been here in St. Louis. I think St. Louis was always going to come around and wrap their arms around this team. But they did a really good job of maximizing whatever that was going to look like. Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll get a game of Bet It or Forget It. If you guys have a scenario, go ahead and get it on the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line for Bet It or Forget It in 15 minutes. The Blues are what their record says they are. So, Alex, what does recent history say about that record? He'll tell you next here on 101 ESPN.
WXOS HD1 East St. Louis. 101 ESPN is driven by Auto Centers Nissan, home of the lifetime warranty and 30-day return.
BetMGM is now available in Missouri. Sports fans in Missouri can sign up for BetMGM using my bonus code Francis, that's FRANCIS, and get up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if their first bet does not win. Enjoy a betting app that was designed for game day. Get into hockey, basketball, and pro football with features like live bets, same-game parlays, BetMGM rewards points, and surprise boosts dropping in your account all throughout the season. It's everything a sports fan could want in one app. BetMGM is now available in Missouri. Sign up today using bonus code Francis to receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Missouri only. New customer offer subject to eligibility requirements. Minimum deposit of $10 to participate. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
You can now watch 101 ESPN live on our Air Alliance Team Studio Cams. Catch every show live on our YouTube channel or at 101ESPN.com. 101 ESPN Studio Cams.
Presented by the Air Alliance Team Heating and Cooling. Getting the job done quickly, correctly, 100% of the time.
Giving you the picture, the real big St. Louis sports picture. It's BK and Ferrario on 101 ESPN.
The Lightning have a 4-1 lead. The time winds down. The St. Louis Blues fall to the Lightning here tonight in Tampa.
Alongside Alex and Alongside Alex and Bradford, I'm BK. It was bound to happen at some point today. BK and Ferrario here on 101 ESPN. Blues lose last night against the Tampa Bay Lightning. They are what their record says they are. But, Alex, you looked up their record today compared to what it's been at the Christmas break over, I don't know, the last 20 years.
Yeah.
How do they compare?
Not good. Not good, Brandon. So they're 14, 16, and 8. 2 games below 500, or a lot of games below 500, however you want to look at it. So I'm thinking it's like, all right, they had to have had this happen a few times since 2000. No, this is only the 5th time it has happened to this Blues team going into the Christmas break at a below 500 record. It was back in the 2018-2019 season. Nobody get any ideas. It's not going to happen again. It was the 2008-2009 season, which for those that may remember, they also went on a run in the second half despite a lot of injuries, made the playoffs, got bounced in the first round, and then 06-07, 05-06. Now, 18-19 was actually a more similar record. They were 14-16 and 4. Whereas in 2006-2007, when they drafted Pietrangelo 4th overall, and 2005-2006, when they drafted Eric Johnson overall, they were like 10 games below 500, 12 games below 500. But I did look at that as very telling. I mean, this is including that season where they started out 3-0 and then lost 7 in a row. They still finished at a 500 record going into the Christmas break when they lost 7 in a row in the first portion of the season. That's bad for this team. And it's why we talked about it yesterday. Some are saying I BKO'd the team, which is probably true. But it was a very telling game against Tampa last night because neighbors told Joe this is an empty the tank type of game. Tank was empty before the game even started.
Yeah.
And that's problematic. And you're 2 games below 500. And the other 4 times this has happened, you made the playoffs twice, but it took a ridiculous run at the end of the stretch in both situations. And you also drafted top 5 overall in the other 2 times. And I am leaning more in the side of I think this team's a top 5 draft team more than they are a ridiculous second half run because 08-09, they didn't trade pieces away. They didn't sell off. They were still in the midst of a rebuild. 18-19, they were moments away from selling off pieces at the trade deadline, and instead they decided to just leave it as is.
Let me put this a different way. So 08-09, as you mentioned, they go on that crazy run. They had success. They ultimately make it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
That was the last time an NHL team had this few wins, 14 or fewer, through the first 38 games of the regular season and made it to the playoffs.
They also fired a coach that season, too. Let's not remember that, or let's forget that.
It has been 17 seasons since a team had as few wins through their first 38 games of the regular season as the Blues currently do with 14 and made it to the postseason. Yeah. I'm not talking about just the Blues. I'm talking about NHL-wide. No other team has done what the Blues are attempting to accomplish this year. Now, maybe the Western Conference is just bad enough this season that it's going to allow some kind of a window into contention. I just don't see it, Alex. I don't believe that that's going to happen, and I don't think they have the players to be able to do that. That doesn't mean they can't next year recoup this thing, build it back up, and then get back into the postseason in 2026. Mm-hmm. They could tinker, and maybe it works out, kind of similar to what they did a couple of years ago, and then last year they were able to make it to the postseason. But I just don't trust this team. I don't believe in this team. I don't think they're good enough to be able to do it. And their record, now that we've reached another benchmark of the NHL season, tells us exactly who they are. They're not a contender for a playoff spot. They're a contender for a top 5 selection.
Yeah, let's not forget Minnesota was the team that missed the playoffs 2 years ago as well. They finished in 6th place in their division, and the next year they win, or they get to the first round, they get bounced, and then, of course, look at what they've done this year. It can happen where you reset it and figure it out the next step, but I looked at that Tampa game last night as a telling sign. Look, you could get back to 500 first time late October. Let's see if you're an empty the tank type of team. And the problem was you emptied it in Florida. You don't have enough in the tank right now. Maybe when they're healthier, guys come back into the lineup and can add a little bit more offensive push, but the inconsistencies have been there all season long, and it's why, rather than say the same thing, I was curious what other teams in the past have done, and 3 of the 4 seasons that the Blues finished below 500 going into Christmas, 2 of those 3, they were one of the worst teams in the NHL, and the other exception was that they fired a coach after Christmas and went went on an absurd run to make the postseason. Like, those three are anomalies, and I think the two might be more likely because of the inconsistency of this team.
All right, last thing that I wanted to get to here on the Blues. Alex, it's really impressive to watch Justin Falk and what he's doing. It's probably not great that he's leading your team in goals. Nope. It's also not great that the guy that he's tied with has only played in 26 of your 38 games. Those are you two double-digit goal scorers this year in Justin Falk and Jake Neighbors. That being said, the fact that Justin Falk is on pace for 20 goals this year is probably going to do wonders for his deadline value.
Yeah.
If the Blues decide, hey, this is the year that we want to cash in on this asset, it coincides with him not having the same no-trade protection as he's had in the past. So you couldn't have asked for better timing in this. He's on pace to, again, get to 20 goals this year. It would be the first time he's ever done that in his NHL career. Again, if he continues to do that, he's at a really unsustainable 13% shooting percentage right now. Right. So it's unlikely that it stays at this rate, but he could be closer to that 15 to 17 range. That's not crazy to suggest. What do you think the Blues are looking at if they decide to cash in on this asset?
I think this is going to be their best asset at the trade deadline. And I think Braden Shen is going to be very desired around the National Hockey League, but there's other center options out there. There's not many options that are right-handed defensemen that can score goals and play top 4 minutes like Justin Falk has been. And I think he's having a really good season. It's kind of mirroring what he did that third year with the Blues where he had 16 goals and 47 points. It was a plus 41. I think this is the value that the Blues are saying, like, this might be able to help us in the long run. And I would imagine after hearing Doug Armstrong talk with JR and all of the writers, they're looking for prospects. And if you're a team that wants to get closer to a Stanley Cup chance, a right-handed defenseman that you could plug in and be on a power play and eat a lot of minutes, play penalty kill for you, that warrants that return. So he has said, Doug Armstrong, that I'm looking for names, not numbers. So I think if they go to the market at the deadline, or maybe before that, coming out of the Christmas break in January when the roster freezes up, you start to look around and see, like, what's out there now, because you make that trade sooner rather than later while he's performing as well as he is.
Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll reveal how we did in the football pick'em from this past weekend. But next, 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line for Bet It or Forget It here on 101 ESPN.
It's time for another moment in Blues history.
On this day back in 1969, a 5-3 win for St. Louis against the Minnesota North Stars. They would score the first 3 goals of the hockey game. Charlie Burns, J.P. Parise, and Danny Grant. Power play, even strength, and shorthanded. And then 5 unanswered goals by St. Louis. Tim Ecclestone on the power play, Gary Saborn, Ab McDonald, Bill McCreary shorthanded, and Frank St. Marseille on the power play.
This date in Blues history is powered by Classic Air Care.
Make your life more comfortable for all your HVAC, plumbing, and electrical needs. ClassicAirCare.com.
ESPN has your chance to win a 4-pack of passes to Monster Jam, January 17th and 18th at the Dome at America's Center. Get ready to cheer, scream, and be amazed as massive Monster Jam trucks and world champion drivers take over St. Louis for the ultimate day packed with high-flying action and jaw-dropping stunts. Get all the info and enter to score a free 4-pack of tickets for Monster Jam now at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 mobile app. We're right back to more of it. It's BK and Ferrario on 101 ESPN. Vegas sets them up, and we're here to make the call. It's BK and Ferrario's Bet It or Forget It on 101 ESPN.
314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line for Bet It or Forget It. You guys give us a scenario. We will tell you if we are betting it or forgetting it here on 101 ESPN. Alex, bet it or forget it. The winner of this year's college football playoff will come from a conference outside of the Big Ten or the SEC. We will not have a Big Ten or SEC winner of the national championship this year.
Forget it. The only hope would be Texas Tech, and I don't.
Miami, technically. They're still alive, baby.
I'll say the only hope would be Texas Tech, but I think this is going to be one of Indiana or Ohio State or Georgia.
I'm forgetting it as well. I'm intrigued by the Red Raiders. Don't get me wrong, but I'm also worried about the inconsistent but explosive offense. It's Ohio State as the number one for me, and believe it or not, I quite frankly am a little more enamored right now. I'll say it. With Oregon's chances of actually going potentially all the way than in Indiana. I love Indiana as well, but the Big Three, no doubt about it, Big Ten style.
Yeah, I'm
enamored
too
this
as well.
I don't know what enamored means.
Yeah, you are.
In love with, interested in.
Why don't you just say that?
That's Bradford. A walking thesaurus.
You want to dress it up.
So who do you think is going to win?
I think Ohio State's going to win it this year. They do one thing better than anybody does anything. I think their defense is the best in the country. And I think that's going to be enough for them to ultimately get over the top this season.
Yeah. My only wonder is Georgia. And I don't know what it will look like when you go up against that stiff of competition, but as great as Ohio State and Indiana is, I think Georgia's got that next level to get to. Guys, bet it or forget it. The contract extension that Philip Broberg will sign is going to be more than 4 years. I don't know when it's going to happen.
Yeah. But if I'm the Blues, I would want it to be as long as humanly possible. He's special.
Yeah.
If I'm him, I would probably want 4 or fewer. I would probably want to do a 2-year deal if I could make that work.
Yeah, but that security is what you're always worried about as a defenseman.
But he's 24 years old. He's big. He's strong. He skates as well as just about anybody in the league. The cap is only going up. In fact, it's spiking more and more by the year. And if you can get that 2-year deal, you could probably get a 7-year deal soon. And you can do so to the tune of more than $10 million per season.
Part of my wondering here is, does he look at a 5 or a 6-year deal to where you have security?
Get yourself to 30.
Get me to 30. And as we know with defensemen, if you're elite, you could play until you're 37, 38, and then make bank for another 7-year contract, take you up to 37, and probably double whatever you're making for the next 6 years.
I'll say forget it just to be on the safe side of things here, that it ends up going under, but I like where your head's at.
Yeah, we had this conversation on the Last Minute Blues podcast. It'll be out later on today, and I'm going to bet this because I think it's somewhere between 5 and 6. The Blues will push for 8 because that CBA kicks in on July 2nd where only he can get 7 years. I think the Blues will push for 8. I think they settle on 6.
I'm going to bet it because in an ideal situation, obviously, for the Blues, if you were to ink him, if you were able to ink him to say somewhere in the neighborhood of a 5-6-year deal, you have a glut of veteran defensemen outgoing, and then Broberg really becomes your linchpin for the next cast of youngsters, too.
All right, Bradford, what do you got for us today?
All right, yesterday, BK, we touched upon a lot of the tremendous weekend action across the NFL. Somehow, though, some way, we didn't get to Green Bay, Chicago. The Bears clinching their first postseason bid in the past 5 years. Bet it or forget it. When we roll around into the playoffs, Chicago wins multiple games. More than one.
Say forget it. I don't think that they are well-rounded enough yet.
Not yet.
To be that kind of a team. There are some similarities, though, to what Ben Johnson and the Detroit Lions did a couple of years ago, where it was like, all right, I don't know how much I buy into this as a legitimate contender right now, but moving forward, I think that team is sustainable. I think what they're doing works. I think they do have the right coach. I think they do have the right quarterback. That play that he made to finish that game, that throw... Dude, he's a legit top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I'm talking about Caleb.
I never saw it happening either.
He's awesome.
Right now.
He's so talented. And they're starting to dial it in with what they want to be. The explosive passing game that they have now been able to pair with that running game. It's really impressive. So I don't think they're ready to be that just yet in the NFC. If they were in the AFC, I might buy this.
Oh, yeah.
But in the NFC, I'll say forget it. And that they're still a year away.
I think as it stands up now, and this will change, but their first-round matchup would be against the 49ers or the Rams. And I'm sorry, as great as the Bears look, I just don't know if you're beating one of those teams.
I think the 49ers might legitimately get the number one seed. We talked about this last week where it could be the 49ers that are the number one seed in the AF or in the NFC, and that the Jaguars is the number one seed in the NFC. It's feeling more and more likely that ends up being the case.
It's crazy.
I'm forgetting it. Forgetting it for one more year, but just wait until 2026. What's nice now, guys, and you touched upon it, BK, the fact that you have that balance, you have everything that Ben Johnson had envisioned. And even with the receiving core right now that's dinged up, Burden and obviously Rome, you see DJ Moore starting to really strengthen his case as being the number one anew, and then Loveland underneath too. This team is loaded, but I do wonder about going up against one of those heavyweights in the NFC West this time around.
314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line for Bet It or Forget It. Let's get to this from the 636. Alex, bet it or forget it. If Berube is fired by Toronto, he should come back to St. Louis as an assistant for Jim Montgomery.
Should he come back? No, I would say he should go to TNT as an analyst and just make bank on being a television personality because they need somebody like Berube. I wouldn't be opposed to it, and I'm sure Jim Montgomery wouldn't be either, depending on what this... First of all, let me just say, I think the Maple Leafs' decision to fire Mark Savard is a joke. Acting as if an assistant coach is the reason your power play hasn't worked well and you're afraid to fire the coach or actually make trades off your roster is just dumb. But... you got to do something, I guess. I don't think Berube gets fired this year. I think it's probably next year. If he gets fired and Jim Montgomery is looking to change things in their assistant coaches, I would 100% looking to bring in Craig Berube because he's a guy that, for the assistant coaches, you know, they're the guy that's a little bit tighter with the players because the head coach is the head coach. You know, it's the Herb Brooks joke. My job is to coach you, not be your friend. I think Craig Berube would be an incredible assistant coach. He was when he was with the Blues.
I think it's time to move on. I think they went their separate ways. Berube, I hope, goes on to have success, whether it's in Toronto or elsewhere. But I don't think it makes sense to bring him back with this core, given the way that it ended.
Yeah.
Now, if you're moving on from the core, I'm open to it. But if you're going to have this same group of core individuals, I don't think it makes sense to just flip the Berube and Jim Montgomery roles and think, okay, yeah, we're heading into a new direction.
I think a lot of change happens if they miss the playoffs. But I'm with you. And I by the way, don't think Berube gets another head coaching job right away after this Toronto one. I think teams take a little bit of a break, and he'll be back in a couple of years.
314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line for Bet It or Forget It. Guys, bet it or forget it. At least 4 Blues players will be traded by the deadline this year. At least 4 players.
If they're out of it, I'd say bet it.
Falk,
Shen, Sundqvist, one of Toropchenko or Joseph.
Sure, I'll bet it.
I don't think Binnington's traded.
I'm good with that. I'll go bet it as well. Over 3.5.
That was, they traded 4 when they sold off before, right? It was O'Reilly, Tarasenko, Mikkola.
There's somebody else.
Achari,
yeah.
So they sold 4 then, too. Yeah, I think you're probably seeing it like that.
Bet it or forget it. The Super Bowl champion this season will be a team that's never won it before. The Chargers, the Jaguars, Buffalo, Houston, or Carolina being teams that fit into that criteria.
Let's stop with the Carolina, okay? This is just cute. Congrats. Welcome to the playoffs. But no. I'd say bet this.
I'll forget it. I think the Rams are winning the Super Bowl this year.
Winning the whole thing
over the weekend of the Rams over the Jags.
I could see the Texans beating the Rams. I could see the Texans keeping it tight defensively.
I have 2 bets that I put in over the weekend.
You didn't think
one? I did that one.
Nice.
I did the Rams over the Jags and the Rams over the Texans. Those were my 2 bets because you get pretty long odds on the AFC side.
If the Texans get there, I could see the Texans winning because of their defense. I still will not trust the Jags until Trevor Lawrence does this in the postseason.
And quite honestly, I still can't trust the Texans' offense, honestly, as we had talked about yesterday, Alex, as far as really getting that ball down the field, unless you're talking about Nico Collins. I'm forgetting this because I do believe the Rams right now, you have to regard this team as the favorite. That's not to say that Buffalo can't legitimately make a run to the Super Bowl, winning it all. And to quote the great Incubus, if not now, win for Josh Allen.
I would say I'd put my money on Buffalo to win it still.
Really?
Like, they would be my favorite to win it, and I'm sure...
I've just got some big questions about them. That they don't play up to their potential.
Defensively, it's a nightmare. But offensively, if Josh Allen has the Patrick Mahomes effect, and now he doesn't have to worry about Patrick Mahomes. If the ball is in his hands for a drive down the field, I expect him to make the play.
And even more so, if you put it in the gut this season of James Cook, that's a different guy. That creates a different dynamic, too, in the playoffs.
Two tight ends that I think are very effective for them. If it's the Bills versus the Rams, I could see Josh Allen put up points against the Rams.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't see the Bills stopping the Rams, though.
In any one game, anybody can win. We've seen that this year.
Yeah.
Like weird stuff happens this time of the year, and especially in this season where I don't think anybody is truly great. I think the Rams are the closest thing that we have to that. Like, their offense is special, and their defense... most of the time is pretty good, although we have seen them look more lackluster recently. There's nobody elite on both sides of the football.
No.
Nobody this year is even, in my opinion, as good as the Eagles were last year.
Nobody is perfect. Everyone's got a flaw.
So, and I think the Bills' problem is that this is the year of the running game, and their worst attribute of their team is their inability to stop the run. Yeah. They can't stop anybody. Everybody runs for 150 against the Buffalo Bills this year. So you're going to get into the playoffs, and you look at the teams that they're potentially going to have to go up against, whether it's the Jaguars or the New England Patriots, who have done pretty well running the football lately, the Chargers, the Broncos. These teams want to run the football down your throat, and they can stop you defensively. I don't think they can win multiple games with the way that they play.
BK, we had this conversation yesterday. How much legitimacy do you apply toward Jacksonville right here, right now? Trevor Lawrence is a different guy at the moment going into the playoffs, though. Your thoughts?
I think they're a legitimate, when I say this, I'm not saying to win it. I think they're a legitimate Super Bowl contender. I think they can get to the Super Bowl this year. But I would say that about, 5 teams in the AFC. Can the Bills get there? Sure. Can the Patriots? Yeah. Could the Broncos? Yeah, I guess so. Texans? Yeah, they've got a great defense. Jaguars? Yeah, absolutely. The only teams that are currently in the playoff field that I just can't see doing it, I can't see the Chargers. I think that offensive line's too beat up. And I can't see the Steelers because, you guys have watched them. Let's be real.
No, he's not wrong.
Other than that, though, yeah, the rest of the AFC field could get there. It wouldn't surprise me because all of these teams are so incredibly flawed. The NFC is where it's tougher. It's tougher to get over that bar to clear.
Is DK going to be eligible for the playoffs? Not exactly immaculate vibes.
I don't think he's going to be a Steeler next year, though. Did you see that eliminated all of his guarantee?
Yeah, I think he's missing out on like $45 million.
Yes. Potentially. It wipes away the guarantees of it. Like the Steelers could trade or release him after the season and walk away for free. It's like get out of jail free card with DK Metcalf because he went and swiped at that fan over the weekend. And now they have an opportunity to just be like, yeah, we'll go ahead and go a different direction.
It's just an awful situation in itself because, like, on one hand, he had to deal with somebody saying something that is just unnecessary and should never happen. But you also can't go out there and swipe at fans. So, like, it's just a terrible situation in itself altogether.
All right, he's Alex. That's Bradford. I'm BK. Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll dive into the junk drawer. But next, our football pick'em reveal. We'll do it a little differently this week because T-Bone's not here to go through these with you. We'll go through what we picked last week, how it went, and set things up because we have 1 week left in our football pick'em challenge for 2025. We'll tell you where we're all at and how it sets up for the final week of the season next year on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN is your home for Blues hockey. Every month during the season, you can score a pair of tickets to a Blues game at Enterprise Center. A new winner is picked every month throughout the season. Enter to win now at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 mobile app presented by Ted Cruz Frozen Custard. from you. Text us at 314-399-9646 on the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation text line on 101 ESPN. 101 ESPN Sports Center.
Redbirds bid farewell to Contreras. I'm Bradford Bruns. Your Sports Center update is presented by Saliga Heating and Cooling. St. Louis has officially sent first baseman Wilson Contreras to Boston for righty hurlers Hunter Dobbins, Yorker Fajardo, and Blake Aida. While MLB was approving said deal, Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol joined the fast lane, praising number 40's overall clubhouse impact.
It was a masterclass in putting the team ahead of himself, right? You go back to the first time we tried to transition and kind of the ups and downs publicly. He handled it extremely well, and then finally made the transition last offseason to strictly play first and DH, and he took to the position very well. That full interview can be found on 101ESPN.com, along with our newest episode of Curbside. Not a positive verdict in Tampa Bay last night as STL fell 4-1. Mizzou also got clobbered, bragging rights style. Illinois securing its 9th victory, 91-48. The Sports Center update is powered by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
This is exactly where you want to be listening to us. It's BK and Ferrario on 101 ESPN.
It was a great week for you in the Pick'em. It was a good week for me in the Pick'em. I wish Tanner was here because it just doesn't have the same feel when he's not. It was a really horrific week for our guy T-Bone.
We love you, Bradford. We just really love rubbing it in Tanner's face when he loses.
Oh, I understand.
Just like
last week, Alex took the Jags to cover 3.5. I was with him on that. Alex had that as his 1-point play. I had that as my 3-point play against the Broncos. They won outright against Denver, so we didn't have to sweat that a whole lot. You had the Bengals minus 4.5 against the Dolphins. That was never in question. No. And then we both had, you had it as your 3-point play. I had it as my 2-point play. The Patriots as a 3-point underdog at the Ravens. We didn't understand the line to begin with. Now, I don't know how the game would have gone if Lamar Jackson was healthy and played in its entirety. I was a little surprised by how much the Ravens were able to move the ball early on. But betting is about winning. And the Patriots did exactly that. So a 3-0 week for you. My other game that I missed on, I had Texas A&M as a 3-point favorite against Miami. They lost outright. Unfortunately, I trusted Marcel Reed. That's on me. I shouldn't have done so. He had been pretty bad lately. I didn't think it was going to look that bad against Miami. Miami didn't win that so much as Texas A&M found a way to lose it. But whatever.
That Texas A&M game was exactly why I was very concerned about A&M going into the playoffs.
A 5-point week for me, a 6-point week for Alex.
God, I love it.
Pretty good spot for both of us. It puts you at 10 points so far in the month of December. I'm at 12 points in December. You're at 53 for the season. I'm at 45 for the season. Now for Tanner's side of things. T-Bone also tailed you on the Bengals minus 4.5 against the Dolphins. Unfortunately for him, he took the Texans, who struggled mightily against the Raiders this past weekend. They couldn't move the ball very well, and defensively, they gave up some big plays in that one.
That's just a bad beat for T-Bone.
And then worse was the Oregon game, which went exactly the way that we told him that it would against James Madison. Oregon was very clearly the better team. That was never in doubt. Unfortunately for T-Bone, they needed to win by 21, and they did not do so. So we tried. We tried to give him the heads up on what was happening.
It's like, dude, you can't go that big of a line in a playoff game.
In a regular season matchup, I would have been okay with it because there's reason to continue scoring and to continue pushing that spread more and more in favor of your team. In the playoff, it's a survive and advance mentality. There was no reason for Oregon to try to win that game by 35 once they're up by so much that they know James Madison can't come back in this game. Pull your starters, put the backups in, let's survive and advance to the next week. So T-Bone got the 1 point, Alex. That means for the month of December, T-Bone is at 8, Alex is at 10, I'm at 12. That's still very much in question.
Yeah. So anybody could lose still with 1 week to go.
For the season, though.
This is what matters, ladies and gentlemen.
T-Bone is at 39. I'm at 45. Alex is at 53. Alex is safe. He will not be punished for the full season punishment.
What a season for Alex, ladies and gentlemen. 53 points.
All I have to do is get a game correct in the final week, and I'm safe from the full season. For the month of December, if I get 2 points correct, there's no way for T-Bone to be able to catch me. So that's where things stand going into the final week. We will not be making picks this week because, as you can imagine, A, T-Bone's not here, and B, there's going to be college football playoff games for us to be able to select from next week, so we'll go ahead and wait until we have those games to choose
that one's going to be tough to do NFL because that's the final week in the NFL season, and typically you get teams that health bomb a couple of guys to make sure they're healthy through the playoffs, and that scares me. That's why I'm glad the overall one is good for me. I don't have to worry about it anymore. For the month, it scares me because I only go NFL games, and that's going to be tough on some of those lines.
Take it from me. Tanner doesn't want to hear about any more health-related issues in light of the weekend events in the 101 ESPN Fantasy League.
What a matchup. You want to tell us about it?
Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, residing on one Mr. Hendrickson's team, okay? But on Thursday night, I'm not going to lie, in going head-to-head with my man, seeing Nakua put up 40-plus points. Owen Smith-Njigba, also rostered by Tanner. An epic comeback took place, ladies and gentlemen. Epic comeback. So it was a great one. Prevailed by just 10.
I love that T-Bone lost.
You ended up winning?
That's right.
I love that T-Bone lost. He's so confident, too. He's like, I don't lose in fantasy football in the 1-0. I'm back-to-back champs.
And you know the thing that's going to honestly haunt him the most? 2 legitimate to great QBs on the roster, right? Matthew Stafford sat against Seattle in favor of Jordan Love. Oh, it stings. It stings.
He also made that trade with me to get Josh Jacobs, and he traded me DeAndre Swift and Rashee Rice. And if he would have had DeAndre Swift, he probably would have won that football game.
Yeah, not great. Not great for our guy T-Bone.
What a rough week.
How's Survivor doing?
Shut up, man. I would have won if, the Buccaneers knew how to actually play a competent football game against the New Orleans Saints, and there's only 10 people left, and I would have been going into this upcoming week with 2 weeks left. The Bengals at home against the Arizona Cardinals.
As we know, though, you can't trust the Bucs. We've learned that, unfortunately. It was too late for us to learn that.
I know.
But they can't be trusted.
I wish I would have known that going into that Buccaneers and Saints game.
All right, so if we were to go through this week, Alex, and make some bets, if you were going to go through and this week you had to put in some picks. Let's start out with the Christmas Day games.
Okay.
The Broncos are a 13.5-point favorite against the Chiefs. I love it.
I do too.
Take the Broncos.
Yep.
Minus 13.5, that's fine. I'd probably take the under on this game. It's at 36.5. If you're doing like daily fantasy or something, don't touch this game.
No.
Just do not play it. It's not worth it. If you're going to do anything, play the Broncos defense. But otherwise, like if you're doing a daily fantasy for the Christmas slate, hanging out, you got a league together with your buddies, whatever, just Broncos defense, maybe RJ Harvey, and leave it alone.
Yeah, I'll echo what BK said last Friday. If you're betting on the Chiefs in a football game right now, you just need to stop betting because there's no point in this. You're not making any money off of it. Correct. The Broncos are winning.
Pacheco's back to being featured.
I don't care.
Don't trust him in a get-right opportunity for the Denver D?
Cowboys are on the road at the Commanders. I can't trust either of these teams. I thought I could trust the Cowboys more than apparently I can. So I'm just not touching this game. If I was going to do something, it would probably be the over on 50.5, but I wouldn't touch this
I actually
one.
like the Cowboys -7. I think coming off of a disappointing loss, I think they come out and they put up points. The Commanders' defense isn't good. So I would like the Cowboys -7.
And then the last one on the Christmas Day slate. It kind of stinks this year, if we're being real.
They were hoping that multiple of these teams would be in playoff contention.
Yeah, it felt like that could have been the case. I mean, a few weeks ago, we were talking about Chiefs-Broncos. This could be a huge game for the division even.
Lions, if they don't lose the game versus Steelers, we're still talking about Lions and Bears at the end of the year.
Dallas was on the rise. Oh, yeah.
Lions are on the road at Minnesota, 8-7 versus 7-8. Lions are a 6-point favorite in this game. Alex, I kind of like the Vikings +6.
Yeah, I kind of do
just
too.
Offensively. I think that interior offensive line for the Lions is a even bigger problem than we gave it credit for. They just don't get movement. the way that they did a year ago. So I'll take the Vikings +6 in that
My
one.
only hesitancy with going with the Vikings is I just don't trust J.J. McCarthy. And, I mean, he's going to have pressure that entire game. They're going to send the house on him. So what does he do with it? And the Lions offense, despite their struggles, is still able to make plays. I actually think I'd go Lions -6.
Okay. Same here. Amon-Ra St. Brown gets all of the catches as well.
I'm not starting Jared Goff in fantasy, though. I have Jared Goff or Trevor Lawrence, and I'm starting Trevor Lawrence. I'm done with Goff.
Don't like them against that defense, man. Brian Flores showing pressure against Jared Goff. I don't feel good about that at all. And then you add in the fact that they haven't run the ball well lately. Whether it's Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, it hasn't mattered.
Yeah,
I don't feel good about the Lions right now.
What about a sneaky play in Tesla at tight end now? Taking over for Laporta. He looks pretty good as far
receiver.
as being a threat.
He only has receiver eligibility, though.
I know.
Just if he was tight end, I'd be taking it because my tight end's trash right now.
Every tight end is terrible, except for Kyle Pitts, who's apparently amazing.
And George Kittle, who is now hurt and not going to help you in a fantasy football championship.
By the way, I forgot to mention this. We are officially eliminated from the Wayno Fantasy League.
What made you remember that, buddy?
The Lions. We went all in on them this week.
I also thought you were going to say Kyle Pitts kicking the crap out of us.
Yep, Kyle Pitts was on the other team, and we played Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jamison Williams, and the Lions kicker. And that didn't go well for us because they had Bijan Robinson and James Cook. And we had Jahmyr Gibbs, who was our main guy, and he didn't have as good of a game as those guys.
That's not
Saturday, actually pretty good slate on Saturday. Texans at the Chargers. That's a fun game. I'm a little surprised to see this. Have you seen the line on this, Alex?
Yeah. Saw it this morning.
Chargers are a 2.5-point favorite at home against the Texans. I think I prefer the Texans in this game.
Yeah.
Plus 2.5. I would like that to be 3 if possible, but it is what it is. I'll take the Texans plus 2.5. I like the Texans to win that game.
Yeah, I think Texans have a lot more to play for than the Chargers do right now. In terms of being in a playoff spot, fighting now towards the top of that division, I would go Texans plus 2.5.
Ravens on the road at the Packers. Packers a 2.5-point favorite.
Talk about a game that I don't want to watch.
Is Love expected to play? Do we know?
I haven't heard anything. My guess is you're not playing him, right?
I have not seen any new updates. You also have that situation in the backfield. Are you better off right now rolling with Wilson, actually, and allowing Jacobs to regain more health? I wonder. He's been good in spot duty this year.
Been really good. I don't know what the situation is for Jordan Love and whether or not he's going to play. If he plays, I like the Packers a lot. If he doesn't play, the battle of the backup quarterbacks. Do something else with your Friday or Saturday night at 7:00. Don't turn on Peacock and watch this game,
I actually
please.
thought Tyler Huntley looked pretty good for Baltimore when he got in there. Like, he moved the ball well enough. So, don't watch this one. I'd take the Ravens plus 2.5 regardless.
Do you guys have a favorite play on Sunday that you have seen so far? Alex, do you have anything that immediately stands out to you in looking at some of these lines and what's out there? I like the Saints minus 2.5 at the Titans.
I was looking at that one.
The Titans are getting too much respect for what they did against the Chiefs.
I was looking at better odds, but most of these games are pretty down the middle. I really like the Jags minus 6.5.
Yeah, that's a square bet, but I like it.
Yeah, that's the problem. The other one too, and again, I don't think it's winning you anything. I like the Browns on the money line.
Okay, at home against the Steelers.
Lost Judkins, which is tough, but I think Pittsburgh's on the ultimate high after that Detroit game, and I think Myles Garrett is going to set the single-season sack record in that game. I think he makes life a living hell for Aaron Rodgers.
Sunday Night Football is fun, man. Bears at the 49ers. I like the 49ers minus 3 in that one.
Yeah.
I like the look of that side. I would take the over 52.5. It's a really high number, but I don't think either defense is getting many stops. Because you saw what happened last night against the 49ers when Old Man Rivers is doing that.
Yeah, this guy can't throw the football right now. Because the Bucs suck, I would say the Dolphins plus 5.5.
You caution against huge numbers, especially as they relate to the division. But can you really persuade me or dissuade me from taking New England at minus 13.5 over New York?
It's a big number, man.
I know it is.
Especially against the Jets defense.
Bradford, do you have a lean on Mizzou minus 4 against Virginia? That's what you should be doing on Saturday night, watching that game instead of the NFL game.
I was more bullish, actually, on the line a couple of weeks ago. I was shocked as well when it was first released and you saw Tigers minus 7. I do give Virginia more credit than a lot of other individuals do. I think that under Coach Elliott, obviously, this is a team that is going to be well prepared. The influx situation for Mizzou offensively, too, and I still don't think we know the full extent, BK, of all the defensive personnel that's going to be available there for you. I'm actually going the other way right now. Not saying Virginia outright, but plus 4, yeah, I'll go Cavaliers.
That's what I like, too. I like Virginia plus the 4 points going up against a true freshman quarterback in Matt Sellers. And with, one of his weapons. A true freshman wide receiver, by the way. That's expected to play for the Tigers. All right, coming up in about 10 minutes, what does this proclamation mean for the Cardinals outfield in 2026? We'll get into that here in just a little bit. The Junk Drawer next here on 101 ESPN.
I want to look in the camera and say this.
Saturday, it's the Pinstripe Bowl. Clemson and Penn State. Pregame at 10:30. Kickoff at 11. The NCAA plays on 101 ESPN. They are St. Louis. It's BK and Ferrario on 101 ESPN. Let's open it up. A junk drawer with BK and Ferrario.
alongside Alex and Bradford on BK. Let's dive into the junk drawer. Alex, what do you have for us today?
So I was going to get to this yesterday, but I didn't because we talked about me being a disastrous father trying to build a toddler bed, which BK, oh, buddy, that one sucks. Don't build things that don't have words in their instructions.
Yeah, I know.
Hate those. But anyway, I wanted to get to this, and I figured this was a good time to do it because a couple of days from now, it's Christmas. And you know what that means? That's right. Christmas dad jokes, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Gotta make people laugh at some point. Guys, during Christmas, did you know there are only 25 letters in the alphabet? There's no L. Why does Santa only listen to Beyonce when he drives?
Tell us, Alex.
It's because she slays.
Okay, that was
I thought that was pretty good. I thought that was pretty good. Why did the snowman go to the garden?
Why, Alex?
Because he had to go pick his nose. Hey-o! Boom! What do you call a poor Santa Claus?
Oh.
Saint Nicholas. Nicholas. Yeah, it's not funny when you have to explain it. How much does Santa have to pay for parking? Nothing. It's all on the house.
That was at least clever.
That one was good. Why are Christmas trees bad at sewing?
Why, Alex?
Because they keep dropping all of their needles. Where does Santa go to stay during vacations?
The North Pole.
At the Ho Ho Hotel.
Well, that's cute.
That could have a double meaning if you wanted to. I don't want it to be, but you could have it as a double meaning.
Sure.
I'm trying to help, but I have a low... Oh, no, that's not the one I wanted to use. This one, I ruined it.
Kissing Santa Claus.
Where are you going with that one, man? Oh, okay. What do you call people who are afraid of Santa? Claustrophobic.
All right, give us the best one.
One more, ladies and gentlemen. If you have a snowball in your left hand and one in your right hand, what do you have?
What?
Frosty's attention. Just think through that one for a little bit. Yeah! Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Hope
Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. That is Alex's free Christmas gift here on BK and Ferrario. In about 15 minutes, we're going to play a game of Beat the Blues. If you guys want to get involved in Beat the Blues today, you're going up against, how about this, Jordan Bennington, right? Jordan Bennington is our contestant. He'll be going up against three of you lucky listeners. Text in right now, 314-399-9646. We will pick at random three lucky listeners to go up against Jordan Bennington and Beat the Blues. All you have to do, text in at 314-399-9646. Say, I can beat the Blues. We'll pick you guys at random. You'll be going up against Jordan Bennington. The winner today will be going home with a Jordan Bennington signed hockey puck and tickets to see the St. Louis Blues as well. That's all in 15 minutes. But next, Chaim Bloom made an interesting proclamation yesterday. What does it mean for the Cardinals outfield moving forward? We'll talk about it next year on 101 ESPN.
WXOS HD1 East St. Louis 101 ESPN is driven by Brown and Crouppen Law Firm. to hear from you. Use the Scott Lee Mic Drop feature on the 101 mobile app. Give us your opinion on anything St. Louis sports with a mic drop.
Brought to you by the Scott Lee Heating Company.
Giving you the picture, the real big St. Louis sports picture. It's BK and Ferrario on 101 ESPN.
Alongside Alex and Bradford on BK. So what does this proclamation mean for the Cardinals in 2026? Chaim Bloom said something interesting when asked yesterday, I think this was by Jeff Jones, what he hopes to accomplish the rest of the offseason. Go ahead and take a listen.
We already discussed, obviously, the potential of adding more starting pitching. Again, I don't think that's an absolute necessity, but we're always going to look to keep doing it if we see the right fit there. On the position player side, we certainly, obviously, that's a big bat that's leaving our lineup, and we're going to want to try to add to our position player group. What exactly that looks like, I don't know yet. I think it's more likely, just given how we're configured right now, that it would be right-handed hitters over left-handed hitters where we sit today. Certainly with Burley ticketed for more work at first base, we can, accommodate a right-handed hitter in the outfield. And I do still think we have a lane for an infield bat as well from the right side. So we'll see exactly how that shakes out. I'm not saying we have to do all those. We want to make sure we're not blocking off opportunity internally. But those are things that could be possibilities as the offseason goes on. And then certainly, we'd like to add some experience to our bullpen.
Okay. Add another starting pitcher. We knew that was potentially still in the cards for them. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. Adding a veteran to the bullpen, we knew that. Right-handed hitter? They're going to go out and add another right-handed hitter?
Well, they traded one away already.
Okay. I mean, I'm not opposed to it.
Not just a right-handed hitter, but a power bat that could play the outfield.
Who?
Oh, I know exactly who. Who? It's Nick Castellanos. I wanted to quote tweet everybody tweeting that out last night and be like, guys, why are we acting surprised by this? That's Castellanos. That's just you go get the guy who's in Philly that doesn't want to be in Philly anymore. He's a right-handed bat. He plays right field. He's a power-hitting bat. And you bring him in and you say, cool, we'll take this guy on. You take Nolan Arenado on. Now, I don't know if Philly's going to do that, but I saw that and I'm like, cool, they're going to trade for Castellanos.
Who else fits into this criteria? You're not getting Kyle Tucker. You're not going out and signing Alex Bregman, Bo Bichette. Those guys aren't realistic. I don't think a Eugenio Suarez is realistic for them. I wonder if maybe they would be in the market for that Japanese corner infielder that we talked about the other day. Maybe that is real. He's 29 years old, so he doesn't necessarily fit into their timeline, but we just saw another younger Japanese infielder take a 2-year deal at, $30 million or something like that, $24 million with the White Sox. Maybe you could see something similar for Akamoto, who's coming over. That would be interesting to me. I like the idea of it if he ends up signing a shorter-term deal.
Do they go the veteran route? Do you go like a Starling Marte and sign an older guy for cheap to be a veteran presence around your roster?
I guess.
I mean, because that's.
I don't have good options for you. I'm trying to present the answers, and I don't see them.
Or
on the free agent
favorite,
market.
Harrison Bader.
So that's the one that I was going to bring up.
Of course you were. God, if I know anything, the people on YouTube are saying we're related because we look alike and we sound alike. We are like a married couple. I know what you're going to bring up.
Yeah. So, the best option here is Harrison Bader.
Yeah, but we're not doing that.
He's consistently wanted by contenders. So at the deadline, if you decided to go out there and sign Harrison Bader this offseason, he's going to have a market. There's going to be a team that's interested in him. Just go back to 3 of the last 4 deadlines when somebody traded for Harrison Bader and saw him as a sought-after commodity. He has speed. He brings great defense to the outfield. He crushes left-handed pitching, and he's been an above-league average hitter for the last couple of seasons. So you add all of that up, I don't think he's going to be what he was last year when he was a 280 hitter and ultimately hit 17 home runs. I don't think that's in, no pun intended, the cards for 2026 when he had a 360 batting average on balls in play. Again, unlikely. He could be pretty good, though. League average. You platoon him in the outfield. You go with him, Nootbaar, and Victor Scott II for 2 of those 3 spots on any given day. I'm cool with that.
Surprisingly, I'm not upset with it either. I think this market value is like $10 or $11 million. If this is a 1-year deal, I'm in.
1 year, $15 million.
I'm in. Because in my mind, I'm flipping them at the deadline. He's not here long term. He's not here for the entire season. He's moved at the deadline. That's what I'm bringing him in for. I actually like the idea of Marte better, but I don't know how much he's going to play for you. But I do think a veteran presence is necessary. If this is a rebuild, which it is right now, the more veterans around, the better. And I'm not talking the Brandon Crawford veterans that bring a fun vibe to the locker room. I'm talking about guys who have been elite at times in their career that can go out there and provide some expertise to the younger players. That would be a Bader, despite my disinterest in it. That would be a Marte. I think that's the path we're talking about here. But the moment I saw this, my first thought was Castellanos. Because if you're going to trade for an asset that you don't have to give up much on, you get 1 year of it, hope he can recoup some value, and then you flip that again at the deadline. And maybe that's how you get rid of Nolan Arenado.
John Scores over on the YouTube chat mentions Grichuk and Hunter Renfroe as two options as well. Yeah, I think that's probably the market that you're shopping in. I'm not telling anybody they've got to be excited about those. You shouldn't be, frankly, excited about those specific names. But that's where the Cardinals are potentially going to be shopping. They have a lot of money, though. If they want to go out there and spend a little bit on an asset that they think could get them some kind of value on the trade market once we get to the trade deadline, I'd be good with that, man. Yeah. If Eugenio Suarez, if they decided, hey, we want to bring him in, he's going to be our starting third baseman next year. We're moving Gorman. We're moving Arenado. J.J. Weatherholt, you're going to be our starting second baseman. Suarez is going to be our third baseman. I'd be surprised by this, just to be clear. But Suarez is our third baseman, and Brendan Donovan is also traded. Cool. I'm good with that. He'll probably have value at the trade deadline as well. And even if you don't do it this upcoming season, maybe the next year, he'd be somebody that has some kind of value at the trade deadline. I'm fine with it. Mm-hmm. I think he'll sign with a contender. I don't think he's particularly expected to sign here. Somebody on the text line said, BK, will you please stop with the Harrison Bader talk? Sure, I didn't expect to be having the talk today. I didn't expect to come in to hear Chaim Bloom yesterday saying that the Cardinals are interested in adding some kind of a right-handed bat. I didn't think that was likely to happen. So he's the one that did this. Blame Chaim Bloom, not me. Yeah. I can't be held responsible for Chaim Bloom's actions here.
Yeah, it's not BK's fault that when he hears an outfielder who's right-handed, who could be a veteran presence, it's not BK's fault he always goes to one specific outfielder, Harrison Bader.
He's good, and teams want him.
Not a power bat, though.
He is, though. Against left-handed pitching, he's a really good power bat. He hit 17 home runs last year. I'll have to look up his exact splits, but in his career, he's been really good power-wise against left-handed pitching. He's not great against righties. I mean, I'm not going to try to sell you on something that he's not, but against left-handed pitching for his entire career, he's been quite good in that area. For his career, he is slugging .450 against lefties, about 15% above league average offensively against them. That's pretty damn good for a guy that plays the level of defense that he does. Bring Gold Glove defense to center field. .450 slugging percentage. He's got 32 home runs in 800 plate appearances against them. So, yeah, he's got more than adequate pop against left-handed pitching. All right, coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll get into one's got to go. You guys give us one or four different options. We'll tell you which one's got to go here on BK and Ferrario. One last thing on this from the 314. Guys, if you go this route, what are you doing about Walker? I don't know.
I actually think Walker's playing no matter what you do. Your Nootbaar's the one that's not playing. I don't know if they anticipate Nootbaar being ready, and if he's here, I don't know if they expect him to be an everyday outfielder. I think he might get traded still. I just don't think the Walker's going to be viewed as the guy that's going to be on the bench. He's either in the minors or he's starting, and I think he's starting.
I think he'll be here. I think he'll probably start most days as well. It's an intrigue. This is the first thing that they have stated publicly that I was like, wonder how that fits. Adding another starting pitcher, it's just more depth. And I think the Cardinals are saying never again. Adding another reliever, cool. Yeah, great. Flip him at the deadline. Trading the assets that they have thus far and the guys that we've talked about in the past, yeah, maximize your return. Go out there and get what you can right now while you're not trying to be good in 2026. Everything they've stated publicly, everything they have done, it matches with what the goal appears to be. Adding a right-handed hitter is interesting. That one, I don't know. I'll be curious to see what the name is, because that will tell us a lot about what the future holds. Until we know who the specific hitter is or what kind of an approach they're taking to that, it's hard to say with any kind of certainty. And Alex, somebody on the text line said, guys, why would they ever consider Nick Castellanos? This is a rebuild. Just let Jordan Walker play out the entire year. If they decided to go that route, it's probably in some kind of a return for Nolan Arenado. So that's why they would do it. It would offset some of the money. Instead of the Cardinals sending back a ton of money, they just get back a player who's considered to be on a quote-unquote bad contract. And with Nick Castellanos, he can play twice a week in left field, basically platooning there with
play a little
potentially
DH.
Lars Nootbaar, and then play a couple of days at DH.
Yeah, this isn't about you trading prospects to go get Castellanos. This is a pure bad player for bad player and change of scenery for two guys. That's what this would be.
The Phillies don't want him anymore. The Cardinals don't want Nolan Arenado anymore. Maybe there's a potential match there between the two sides. And if the Cardinals are looking for a right-handed bat anyways, and they're planning to send a bunch of money with Nolan Arenado, now you don't have to go spend that money. You get the right-handed bat that you're looking for. I do think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's just a matter, does Philly want him? And is he willing to go to Philly? Those are the two scenarios that I don't know about.
Coming up next, we're going to play a game of Beat the Blues. One's got to go at 1:30. That's all coming up here on BK and Ferrario.
The Spread Zone, where sports betting meets reckless optimism, questionable logic, and the occasional stroke of genius. With hosts Anthony Stalter, Tim McKernan, and Scott Rizzuto. Check out the latest from the Spread Zone at 101ESPN.com or the 101 mobile app. The Spread Zone is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. right back to more of it. It's BK and Ferrario on 101 ESPN.
Do you have what it takes to defeat a member of your St. Louis Blues? It's time to find out. Can you beat the Blues? Presented by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Alongside Alex and Bradford, I'm BK. You got BK and Ferrario here on 101 ESPN, and it is time for our weekly staple. Can you beat the Blues? We have 3 different contestants on the line right now. It'll be Nick, Mark, and Jake. 3 individuals all trying to defeat the one and only Jordan Binnington today. Winners going home with tickets to see the Blues versus the Canadians. That's coming up on January the 3rd, and a signed hockey puck by Jordan Binnington. We begin today with Nick. Nick, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you and yours. How you doing today, man?
I'm good, guys. Merry Christmas to you guys. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Appreciate you being a part of the show. Nick, our game is very simple. You will name as many different things within a specific category as you can in 15 seconds. We'll hear what Jordan Binnington has to say about that exact same category. Whoever has more mentioned within that 15 seconds, they're the winner of that specific round. Whoever has the best margin of victory or the lowest margin of defeat at the end of this game, they'll be going home with the ticket to see the Blues versus the Canadians and the hockey puck signed by Jordan Binnington. You understand the rules of the game, Nick?
Yes, I do.
All right, buddy. You are going up against Jordan Binnington today, and your category is kitchen appliances. Name as many kitchen appliances as you can in 15 seconds. On your mark, get set, go.
Refrigerator, oven, dishwasher, Keurig, kitchen, spoon, fork, knife, kitchen table, kitchen chair.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
You're thinking what I'm thinking, right?
They're not appliances.
Yeah, they're not appliances. Nick, we love you, but I think when you said kitchen, you caught yourself up there.
Yeah. He got stuck.
You got to Keurig, and then I'm like, all right. And then you said kitchen, and then it kind of went flat. But I'm not a jerk here. We're not going to give spoon.
I got 4.
I had 4. We're not going to give spoon, kitchen.
No.
Okay, cool. So 4 for Nick.
But the first 4, we're good to go.
I was going to say, Nick, you did
well
well
with those. It's a tough category. Let's be real. All right. Nick is going up against Jordan Binnington. Let's see if Jordan knows his way around the kitchen.
Fork, spoon, knife, butter knife, a napkin, plate, cup, bowl, food, spatula.
I think I know what happened here.
This is things in the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got bad info. I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but
okay. Well, if we're going to allow what Nick had, I was keeping count. He had 8. He had fork, spoon, knife, table. He had 8.
We've never had this before, Alex.
We've never had this happen before.
Yeah, I feel a little bad here.
It was 8.
Okay. How many did Jordan have?
I didn't listen to Jordan because I got confused as where we were. So we should probably play Jordan again to keep count.
All right. We're going to have to figure out what to do here. Nick, stay on the line. We're going to figure something out here. We're going to go to Mark, who's going to be going up against Jordan Binnington. And I think we have the right category here.
We hope.
Mark, how you doing today, man?
Doing great. How y'all doing?
Doing really well. All right, Mark, do you understand the rules of the game if we give you the right category?
Better before that category.
Yeah, yes, I do.
All right, Mark, you are going up against Jordan Binnington, and your category today. Name as many game shows as you can in 15 seconds. Game shows in 15 seconds. So on your mark, get set, go.
The Floor, Dating Game, Deal or No Deal. Oh, my gosh. Games. Yeah, that's all I got.
Well, at least he's honest about it. I had 3.
I got 3 from Mark as well. All right, let's hear if Jordan Binnington knows his game shows. I know Alex Ferrario is a big game show guy.
Me some game shows.
We'll see how Jordan Binnington does.
Family Feud, Uh-Oh, Price is Right, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, minute to match it. Might just made that one up. I don't know.
We'll give him a minute to match it, minute to win it. I don't know what uh-oh is. Is that a Canadian game show?
So that's 4. I got 4.
I had 5.
5?
Yeah, I had 5.
So that's a +2 for Mark. All right, next thing up here, we're going to go to Jake, who's going to be on the line going up against Jordan Binnington today as well. Jake, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
We're doing really well. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Happy holidays as well. Jake, do you understand the rules of the game?
Yes, I do.
All right, Jake, your category today going up against Jordan Binnington. Things that smell good. Name as many things as you can that smell good. On your mark, get set, go.
Flowers, hand soap, dishwasher detergent, laundry detergent, flowers, dryer sheets, fresh, clean bed sheets, shampoo, fresh pizza.
I just kind of laughed when he said dishwasher detergent. I mean, hey, man, to each his own. That one was just funny. But you know, one thing I can agree with you on, Jake, is a fresh set of bed sheets.
Don't we know
Twice every other day.
Yep.
Oh, there's no better feel or smell than fresh bed sheets. Come on now.
Amen to that.
Alex gets to feel that every night when he lays in bed.
Every night I put a pair of new sheets on.
All right, Jake, good round for you. That was 8 for him. We'll see if Jordan Binnington is able to beat it. Let's go ahead and take a listen, Bradford.
Candles, soap, flowers, pizza, pie, woman.
Okay, well, he said women twice. And
I got 6.
Won't disagree with him there, but yeah, I have 6 as well.
All right, so that's a +2.
God, this sucks because it comes down to this one.
All right.
Do we have them both play it again? But the problem is they've been listening to it this whole time.
So here's what I'm thinking, Alex. You tell me if you think this is a fair way to go about it.
Okay.
I think we give Nick a new category.
Okay.
I will come up with this category.
Okay.
And then Nick will go up against you in that category.
Okay.
And that will allow him to have a round. It is not technically against Jordan Binnington, but you are a member of the Blues pre- and post-game, so you are a member of the Blues.
And as listeners know, I get paid by the Blues.
Obviously, as we know. But in order to do that, we are going to need the blessing of Nick. If Nick doesn't agree to that, well, then I don't know what we're going to do.
Then we got to really figure it out.
Nick, we screwed you, man. We gave you the wrong category. You went up against Jordan Binnington. I don't know if you won or lost, honestly. I have no idea. But we gave you the wrong category. So, how do you feel about getting a do-over? I will give you a category. I will then give a category to Alex Ferrario. I'll try to make them similar in difficulty. Or, you know what? We'll have Alex go to
I'll go the cone of silence right now. Well, as long as Nick agrees to it.
So that way he's out of here, and you can have one round. You got to beat him by at least 3. And if you do, you're going home with the tickets to the Blues game into the signed hockey puck by Jordan Binnington. Do you agree to those terms, Nick?
Totally, let's do it.
All right, Nick, I'm walking out. Good luck.
Alex, get out of here. Nick, appreciate you being a good sport about the whole situation. I know that sucks. It is what it is. But we sometimes wires get crossed. It's all good. Nick, how did you feel about your round when you went up against Jordan Binnington?
Not great. I thought of appliances, and then I just kind of spiraled, and I thought of just things in the kitchen, but it sounds like he did as well. So.
I think that was actually the category. So technically speaking, you actually did it 100% correct. We just gave you the wrong category to go with. All right, here we go. Category for you, Nick. You're going to be going up against Alex Ferrario today. Name as many things as you can that you would find at a carnival. Things that you would see at a carnival, okay? You have 15 seconds on your mark. Get set. Go.
Carousel, bean bags, like those duck ponds that I'm picturing, like a balloon pop. What are those? Skee ball.
All right, Nick, I've got you down for 6. We'll go ahead and get Alex Ferrario back in here. Nick, do you have young kids?
I do not.
Okay.
No, I just can picture that from over the years.
No, you're good. All right,
I see
Alex,
you guys laughing, so this might not be good for me.
We'll see how you do. Your category today, you've got 15 seconds to name as many different things in this category as you can. I believe this is your first time playing this game.
This is actually, other than the examples you give at the beginning.
Yep. Name as many things as you can that you would see at a carnival. Things that you would see at a carnival. On your mark, get set, go.
Clowns, elephants, tigers, monkeys, trapeze artists, ring bearers, fire, balloons, popcorn, peanuts. Did I say elephants? Probably elephants. But tents, big tents.
I think that you are thinking of
a circus.
A circus?
Did I just ruin the category again?
You did get enough of them that would also apply. To
wouldn't a circus and carnival kind of be the same thing? Is it kind of the same thing? Were you laughing because Nick, did you do the same thing that I did?
No.
No, Nick actually answered it correctly.
Nick had 6, so he ends up going home. Jake is our winner today.
Hey,
Jake, congratulations. You ended up ultimately winning this thing. You're going home with tickets to see the Blues versus the Canadians and a signed hockey puck by the one and only
awesome.
Jordan Bennington, man. Congratulations today. Happy holidays. Hopefully this makes your Christmas that much better.
Yeah, that's I can't ask for a better way to start the Christmas holiday. That's awesome.
Hell
You
yeah.
bet, man. Jake, stay on the line. We'll get all of your info, and you'll be going home with those tickets to see the Blues and a signed hockey puck by Jordan Bennington. See, even when things go awry, we find a way to make it right here on BK and Ferrario. All right, 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line.
Beat Alex. That was fun. People like that, right?
You guys give us 4 different options. We'll tell you which one's got to go next here on BK and Ferrario.
101 ESPN's Blues Fan of the Week.
Congratulations to Joe Scheck from St. Louis, Missouri. He is our newest 101 ESPN Blues Fan of the Week.
Submit your pick now at 101ESPN.com to be the next Fan of the Week and take home a pair of tickets to an upcoming Blues game.
Our Blues Fan of the Week is presented by CarStar, your auto body repair experts. Locally owned with nationwide warranty. See us at carstar.com.
listen to 101 ESPN on demand. Get caught up on all our shows and podcasts at 101ESPN.com or on the 101 mobile app. 101 ESPN podcasts are presented by the Schaefer Door Company. 101 ESPN Sports Center.
Closing the chapter on Contreras, I'm Bradford Bruns. Your Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Boston has indeed acquired Wilson Contreras from St. Louis in exchange for pitchers Hunter Dobbins, Yoiker Fajardo, as well as by Blake Aida. Cardinals manager and Fastlane guest Ali Marmol spent 3 seasons admiring number 40's approach.
He's an emotional player, and there's ups and downs to it, but man, this guy cares. And I love the way he was able to communicate with me. And we can always be direct and real with each other. I absolutely loved having this guy. And that's what our conversations were based around last night, man. Just how much we actually enjoyed it. It's part of the business. And obviously everyone knows what we're trying to do moving forward. But this is a dude that I absolutely loved having on the team.
That complete conversation now available on 101ESPN.com. A new Last Minute Blues podcast episode will be there soon. STL couldn't get past Tampa Bay Monday evening. Nashville next visits Enterprise Center December 27. This Sports Center update was driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet plus Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
This is exactly where you want to be listening to us. It's BK and Ferrario on 101 ESPN. This is BK and Ferrario. Time now for One's Gotta Go. We offer up the talking points, and you get to pick which one's gotta go on 101 ESPN.
Count that big pen.
314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line for One's Gotta Go. You give us 4 options. We'll tell you which one's got to go here on BK and Ferrario. A little bit of news to pass along. Ken Rosenthal reporting that Ryan O'Hearn is in agreement with the Pirates on a 2-year, $29 million.
My goodness.
For Ryan O'Hearn, they're adding to their offense a first base DH type. Actually had a really good season last year with Baltimore and San Diego, about 25% above league average. I like the signing for them. It's a little more money than I would have anticipated for the Pirates to sign.
Props for the Pittsburgh Pirates for trying, man, because for the longest time they haven't, and now you've made 2 offseason moves that in the last 5 years we haven't seen any of these.
Left-handed hitter, typically around a 280 hitter. Gets on base at a decent clip. A little bit of pop. I like it. A good move by the Pittsburgh Pirates. All right, let's get into One's Gotta Go. One's Gotta Go Cardinals Reunion Free Agency Edition. Harrison Bader, Jose Quintana, Jordan Montgomery, or Randall Grichuk, Alex. Which one of those? One's Gotta Go Bader, Quintana, Montgomery, or Grichuk. If I had to get rid of one, I would probably say get rid of Jordan Montgomery, because I don't know when he's going to return, and I need guys for the beginning of the season more than I need starters for the middle of the season. Because I think there will be players that are progressing through your minor league system that could potentially help you by the time that you get to the middle of the year. So I would say Montgomery's the one that's got to go.
Yeah, that's a good explanation. I was thinking one of Grichuk or Bader, because I don't know if either really make a whole lot of sense. And I would probably lean Randall Grichuk, because I don't think that home run power that you'd be hoping for plays in Busch Stadium.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're talking about acquiring potentially a power bat, right? Some source, some semblance of that on the free agent market. So at this point in his career, Grichuk probably doesn't profile as the type.
At least Bader hits doubles. Like, yeah, Grichuk's hitting balls in the air, and they're probably more times than not pop flies.
From the 636, which one's got to go? Cardinals edition, young core edition, I think is fair to say. Mason Wynn, J.J. Weatherholt, Liam Doyle, or Ivan Herrera. Wynn, Weatherholt, Doyle, or Herrera. Which one's got to go?
Ooh.
I would go Wynn here.
I think I'd go Wynn here. I got Herrera's bat, which I think could be a legit star bat. Liam Doyle, I mean, you absolutely need that. And then it comes down to Weatherholt or Wynn, and I think Weatherholt might have more upside.
Yeah, and he can play shortstop and has more control. Mm-hmm. So I would probably go with Mason Wynn is the one that's got to go.
All right, we're all on board. Trade Wynn.
314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service X sign. One's got to go. Sugar, salt, condiments, or every other spice.
Oh, God.
I'd probably say condiments.
I would think I would go condiments. I don't know if I could get by without sugar or salt. And I mean, I spice the hell out of everything that I make.
Same.
So, yeah, I'd probably go condiments.
My wife would probably say this guy belongs in the every other salt category because the palate isn't just extensive, okay? But I will say condiments. Give me a little more credit here during the
I'll
holiday
just
season,
go lemon
please.
juice on everything because that's not a condiment. I'll just go lemon juice on everything.
All right, Christmas movie edition. One's got to go Home Alone, Christmas Vacation, Elf, or A Christmas Story. We did this one last week, but for anybody that didn't hear it, I think we're on the same page.
Yeah, I was going to
Christmas
say,
Story.
we want the hot take again. A Christmas Story is trash, and I don't think it belongs in this category.
I don't feel that way about it, but
I do,
I'm not
and I'll
a
stand
huge-
by it.
I'm with you guys. It's a runaway.
Yeah.
One's got to go mid-2000s pop punk edition.
Oh, here we go.
Alex.
Yes.
My Chemical Romance.
Okay.
Taking Back Sunday.
Okay.
Blink 182.
Oh, my gosh, that's the GOAT.
Or Yellow Card.
Ooh.
For me, I would go Yellow Card. The other three are...
Yeah, My
very
Chemical
much in my
Romance. I was never a My Chemical Romance guy, but I still think I would keep it in this category. And it comes down to Taking Back Sunday or Yellow Card. I think I'd get rid of Taking Back Sunday, and it's only because Ocean Avenue is just a complete banger.
Banger, for sure.
Yeah.
My Chemical Romance, Black Parade aside, I'm going to have to dump you. Sorry.
Man, Bradford and I were just talking about this yesterday. We want to go see Good Charlotte. I have no
that'd be
interest in
great.
seeing Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah.
I just want to see Good Charlotte.
When's that?
Summertime, I think.
Is that coming here?
Yeah, it's coming here.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Good Charlotte back on the
Let me
road.
find out when it is. Yeah, tickets at
Tickets at
101.
101ESPN.com, as I obviously knew.
Keep listening.
Let me see.
Is
what
this I'll go ahead and talk to Ryder
Yeah,
while
Ryder, come
nobody
on
else
in.
can hear it. Is
August
this a
1st.
Hubbard show?
Wow.
Point show. Hell yeah,
August
it is.
1st. Oh my gosh, we're gonna be there, ladies and gentlemen.
I want to go.
I know a couple of Avenged Sevenfold songs, so like
I've seen them live, actually, believe it or not.
That does not surprise me.
It does probably
Does it?
surprise a lot of people. Maybe not you.
I mean, I
but-
like Avenged Sevenfold. I just don't think I would stay for the entire concert. I will stay for the entire Good Charlotte. If this
Oh,
was
it's
Good
the
Charlotte,
theater.
if this was Good Charlotte and Simple Plan, I told Bradford this yesterday. Oh man, I would be front row, losing my voice.
Yeah, I want to go to this.
Yeah, we should not go as a show.
What day is August 1st? Like, what day of the week?
I don't know, man. What do I look like, Rain Man?
We should do a show from there.
Saturday.
Oh, okay, well, then
No,
you
won't-
and I can just
I
go
won't
together.
be doing it. No, I'll meet you there.
Do you think T-Bone would like Good
No.
Charlotte?
No.
That's not a serious question,
No.
right?
Yeah, I don't think he would like that.
Really?
Yeah.
There's no chance he would like Avenged
Avenged
Sevenfold.
Sevenfold. I don't think he
No
would.
chance.
I don't think he would like Good Charlotte. I think he would say it's just loud noise. 573. You can go drink canal water for how you feel about Blink 182, sir.
From the 314, did you go to the concert during your earring stage, PK?
I don't know if Avenged Sevenfold and earrings go together.
No.
No, I don't think that's a thing. Not your earrings.
No.
The
That's
big,
more like Gage.
Yeah, the big
Yeah.
loop earrings. That would be more of the Avenged Sevenfold.
I did not. That was pre-earrings. That was like high school stage.
Post arm sleeve BK would be at Avenged Sevenfold.
Maybe. Depending on
Maybe we
what it
should
looks
go
like.
get an arm sleeve together and then go to the
Before,
concert
next summer.
Yeah, we'll match up.
All right, coming up next, we'll finish out this show today and this week's shows here on BK and Ferrario.
The Blues play on 101 ESPN.
Big save on one end. Tie game on the other.
Saturday, Blues and Predators. Pre-game at 6, puck drop at 7.
He tucks it in with a great move.
This is your exclusive home for Blues hockey. 101 ESPN.
Alex Ferrario with you to tell you about my friends over at Classic Air Care, the company that's making people comfortable since 1926. They've got incredible reviews over on their Google Plus page and their website talking about the exceptional customer service that they have, like this one from Danielle. I had an experience with Michael who came to support me when my thermostat stopped working. From the moment he arrived, professional, friendly, easy to connect with, genuinely cared about helping me understand what was happening and took the time to walk me through each next step to ensure my heating and cooling system was working properly. Knowledge, patience, and authentic concern for the customer set him apart. So get that type of service with your HVAC system over at Classic Air Care. They've got 100 vans on the road. They'll get back to you within 24 hours. They're open 7 days a week with after-hour techs available to you. Call them today, especially once you get back into that cold weather. I know it's going to be hot this week. It'll be cold the next week. You need the company that's out to take care of you. I've been using them since 2016. Use them for your home to keep you and your family warm or cool this upcoming year. Call them or schedule online. Do me a favor and tell them Alex Ferrario sent you. Classic Air Care and ClassicAirCare.com.
They are St. Louis. It's BK and Ferrario on 101 ESPN. Let's run it back with a daily rewind on BK and Ferrario. Brought to you by Gloria Loom, your home sold guaranteed realty. Selling your home begins at GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Alongside Alex and Bradford on BK. If you guys missed anything from today's show, be sure to check it out on the podcast page, 101ESPN.com, and the free 101 ESPN app is where you go to find it. It's all sponsored by
Schaefer Door Company.
That 101 ESPN app, free to download, super easy to use. It's sponsored by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. It's 150. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Alex, you have anything going on for the Christmas holidays with the family?
Busy week as usual. I actually have a sleep study tonight with my daughter, which is going to be fun to do right before Christmas Eve. But Christmas Eve, we do it with my family. We'll be at my sister's. And then Christmas Day, we have our morning. We go to my mother-in-law's, and then my father-in-law comes over to our house. So crazy Christmas Day, but luckily it's only 2 places rather than 3 places.
It's not too bad, man.
No, it'll be fun.
Worse.
The girls are big into Santa and Christmas this year, especially our 2 oldest. So that's
Luca was out.
Really?
We went over to the zoo yesterday. They have an area where you can go take a picture with Santa. He's
Didn't
like,
want it?
not happening.
Yeah. Our youngest, Olivia, she carrying her over to him and clung to me, like would not let go. And I'm like, oh, geez. Luckily, we went to the Bass Pro Shop to do it, and they got a bench in front of Santa. And so we set Olivia down there. God, Adelaide, the moment we walked into that place, she saw him and ran up and jumped into his lap. So it's fun to see this side of it at Christmas time. We'll probably go drive through and see some lights at some point. And then our tradition, we always watch It's a Wonderful Life Christmas evening.
Nice. That's one of Kara's favorites.
Yeah.
Bradford, what do you guys have going on?
Really thankful, honestly, to just have the core 4, if you will, back under the same roof. That's right. Hey, I haven't exactly seen the oldest a lot since she returned from the end of the first semester, so it's going to be fun. We're keeping it pretty low-key for Christmas Day, that is. And then in the evening, my guilty pleasure, 3 more episodes of Stranger Things being released. So I'm going to have to balance between Chiefs, Broncos, Stranger Things. We'll be up late.
I don't think you're going to have to balance Chiefs, Broncos.
Oh, I will.
I also don't know that Stranger Things is a guilty pleasure. I think that's just a lot of people think
popular.
that's a good show.
I know. Just self-reference there. Self-referential.
No.
I respect that.
No, guilty pleasure is what this guy over here watches.
I've got Pluribus to watch this week.
I don't know what that is.
New show, relatively speaking, new show on Apple. The creator of Better Call Saul and
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. It's his new show for Apple. It's been really good so far.
I've started The Boys.
Have you?
I finally have started that.
I think you'll like it.
So far, I'm 2 episodes in, and so far it's at least entertaining.
It's pretty nuts. It's fun. It's good. Eventually, it just kind of like, I think I've kind of seen what this show has to offer.
Tries to go a little crazy.
Yeah, but Pluribus is on the schedule. Other than that, we hang out with Kara's family for most of the Christmas holiday. We already did something in KC with my mom, got the gift exchange for Luca there, and then we'll see my dad at some point in January to do things on that side.
Tell you what I'm most excited about is I don't have hockey until Saturday, so I get like 3 days of just being at home with the girls. That's going to be fun.
Can't beat it. For all of you that are out there that have spent any amount of time this year listening to us, being a part of our show, thank you for doing so. Our jobs are not possible without you. Around this time of the year, I'm incredibly thankful, especially, always thankful, but especially around this time where get to be around the friends and the family and everything, seeing like what this job allows us to do and some of the things that it allows us to get for Luca to wrap and to put underneath the Christmas tree. Cannot thank you guys enough. It has been a really, really, really gratifying year for us on the show. It's been a very successful year for us, frankly, for us on the show. So I can't thank you guys enough for what you do. For any of you that text in, that are a part of the YouTube chat as well, it's really cool what we've been able to build. And I'll just be a little self-indulgent real quick. The numbers for the midday show to produce what we have been pretty good. And you guys are a big part of that because, like, I can think what we do is awesome.
Right.
It doesn't really matter what I think. It matters what you guys think. And if people aren't listening, if they're not subscribing to the podcast, not watching over on YouTube, not commenting and being a part of the show, which is a big part of what we do. We use the text line in the YouTube chat a lot. It wouldn't be the same show. So can't thank you guys enough for that. It's been a hell of a lot of fun. And we've got a little bit more in us.
Yeah,
so
hopefully 2026 is just a bigger year. We got all kinds of fun stuff planned.
Fingers crossed for that. I'll be here. Alex will be here. T-Bone will be here. I think all of us are locked in for at least 2026. So show's going to be back in 2026. We'll be back next week. We've got 2 days next week, right? Monday, Tuesday that we're back in.
Yeah, 2 days next week. And
then
3
we'll
more
be
days
back off once again. So
then we're back for a full week.
For Alex Ferrario and Bradford Bruns, I'm Brandon Kiley. Merry Christmas to any of you that celebrate. Happy holidays to any of you that don't. We'll talk to you next week. We'll bring in the new year together and give you our football pick'em next week as well. We'll talk to you then. The Fast Lane's coming up next year on 101 ESPN.
Jamie Rivers here, and it is time for another one of my jersey giveaways. And how about this month? None other than Robert Thomas. It's a blue jersey signed by Robert Thomas. It's awesome. Going to look great on you or look great on your wall. Get entered to win that autographed Thomas jersey right now at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 ESPN mobile app. Jamie's jersey giveaway is presented by St. Luke's, ranked top 2% in the nation for cardiac surgery by Health Grades.